Hey! we should have been all freeze frame like it's all. Oh, yeah. Welcome to episode 141 of the Crippled System Podcast.
Palindrome.
Holiday edition.
Christmas edition. There are other holidays in the year.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure.
Because we'll have a New Year's Eve edition as well.
In theory.
Oh yeah.
New Year's Eve
Last
edition.
week was our Hanukkah
Our
edition.
Hanukkah edition.
Yeah.
We didn't even was our Kwanzaa edition. You know, when Kwanzaa was on.
Because we all know.
So, do we have any announcements? No. Hi, I'm Andy.
Yeah. You are.
Brian.
I'm Jeremy, Value 418 on the forums.
I'm Katie.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Brian.
You said that in a very sexy voice, Nathan.
Andy, happy birthday. I got your birthday present. Andy, happy birthday.
Is it a cat bug?
His birthday was a couple weeks ago.
It was a couple of weeks ago.
That happened.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? It feels partially fluffy.
We got Andy cake for his birthday because he's a diabetic and we love him.
I never got the cake.
and
though.
we-
What did you eat, the brownies?
No, I never came by for the cake.
No, you came by for some of it, though.
I didn't have a slice of the cake. I had the cheesecake.
the
We
cheesecake.
got him a cake and we
To
ate
be
all of
fair,
it.
we had multiple pastry options for our diabetic friend because we love
Okay,
you.
I'm not sure what this is yet.
It's a
That's
bag.
'cause it's wrapped.
It's a bag in a bag. That's
That's
Fucking
meta.
A.
there's another bag.
Inception bag.
It's wrapping paper over a bag over, well, this isn't wrapping paper. This is just
Tissue
stuff
paper.
to make sure it didn't break.
Yeah.
But it's still a wrapping job.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh, right?
Oh, I know exactly what it is now. I just see the
Well, that's because
backside.
you can see it.
Yeah.
You know what it is when you can see
If you
it.
don't know what it is, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, that's adorable. Is it a cookie jar?
It's a bank. It's a toothless
bank.
bank.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, crap. I have to turn that off. Stop.
That is
Andy
awesome.
can save up all of his money in his toothless bank.
I could put him right next to my Skeletor bank.
You could. That is
If
actually
you
adorable.
save up enough cash, then you can actually have quite a lot of dollars.
That was going to be your Christmas present. And like I said, that was the first Christmas present we bought because Raylene saw it in Walmart and said, we have to get that for Andy for Christmas.
This is amazing.
But then I got a Christmas
Something
present
else.
for you, and so this became your birthday present.
Ta-da!
Yay.
Which is why you didn't get it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for those of you
Toothless
that-
looks very angry if you look at the
He
screen.
does look very angry on the screen.
So do we have an announcement then?
Always happy.
Oh my
Do we
god.
have
Thank you,
actual
Nate.
announcements other than Andy's
Oshkosh
birthday?
is this weekend, so.
Oshkosh.
Go to Oshkosh. Play
Oshkosh.
35.2 list
Gosh.
event.
Gosh.
Yep. It's 35 2 lists required.
2 lists required.
But
Oh.
you have to play them both?
I'm assuming it's
If
going to
it's
be
2 is
DNC.
required, you
required,
didn't have to play them both. It would be
DNC 0.
pointless.
Yeah. I don't know.
Seems
I'm
okay.
not sure.
DNC something.
It is. Bring 2 lists you want to play. And then join me at Pete's. I want to flood their bar with everybody.
With War
I bring.
Machine people?
Yeah.
Pete's Garage. It's full of Pete's.
Yep, it is.
Like Pete and Pete?
That's where you keep
Pete.
Which one was your... I liked Pete.
Which one was your favorite, Katie?
Was it Pete or Pete?
But this is the Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Is it? Because he knows how to fly?
It's the same thing.
I know.
There's no difference at all.
All right, Nathan,
Yeah,
I
I
think
got
there's significant character difference in their personalities.
I
between
would
the two
agree.
films.
I got you something. This is a
Oh,
non.
fuck, I was going to bring the tree that you got me, and I was going to put it on the table for the Christmas thing.
Oh, that would have been good.
This is a non-king game on my phone.
That's good.
That's her gift to you today.
That's my gift to you.
Okay.
A non-king game.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
It does.
So War Machine tournament next weekend.
Yep, Saturday.
What do we do? Are we going to have like a year-end edition of this podcast on
I assume.
next weekend? Because that would be
I
the
wouldn't.
last one that we could do.
Next weekend would be the last.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be.
because the first is on Friday.
The first.
And here's an early announcement. At the end of this podcast, we're going to talk about Star Wars. So prepare yourself, and then if you haven't seen it when we get to there, be prepared to stop the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna say something.
Yeah.
We're gonna say something like, "Nathan, go away. We hate you," and that's the cue that it means we're gonna talk about Star Wars. 'Cause
You
it's
could
CBS.
also say,
And-
we're about to talk about Star Wars.
Or we
Like,
could-
that would be a handy cue to those
I like my
listening
cue
at home.
better.
Okay, that's fine.
I also have a
those-
visual cue that I'll put up on the.
Well, you have it on there already. There's no Star Wars spoilers
There are
now.
no spoilers right now.
Snape,
No,
Snape
I'm just-
kills Voldemort. Wait.
Snape kills Vader.
Snape, that's what I meant to say.
Vader
My
is
brain.
Luke's dad.
Oh,
Star Wars spoiler.
Star Wars spoiler. Yeah.
Voldemort, or Snape sort of kills Voldemort.
No.
Sorta.
If you don't count that he doesn't in no way, shape, or form.
He helps give information that was key to Harry.
Well,
I
mean,
suppose.
that helps defeat him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So,
that's-
and ultimately,
Many
So
Bothans
really, they
died.
all killed
Well,
Voldemort.
Many
Yeah.
Bothans died to bring us this
I
information.
feel like if you just give credit to one person as opposed to the entire team that made that happen, then this is really short-sighted.
I'm giving credit to one person, and the one person is the one who killed the final Horcrux. So obviously, all credit goes to Neville Longbottom.
Neville Longbottom. That's true.
Neville Longbottom, the true savior.
He is the hero of the story.
He is absolutely the hero of the
And
story.
there goes Andy through the.
Bye, Andy.
Bye.
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 There needs to be one more thing.
We love you.
There needs to be one more thing, including Andy.
Where are we putting one more thing in this room?
So we're going to be giving out some gifts now for a little while. It's going to be exciting.
We need to go first.
While we give
Why
out
are we
gifts, we
going
can try
first?
thinking of another topic. Otherwise, this will be a 40-minute long podcast, and 39 of it will be Star Wars.
That sounds like
Or you guys
a
can just talk about
podcast.
Star Wars for an hour and a half.
That
I
does
don't
sound
know.
amazing.
Yeah.
Or hey, I love short podcasts. Whoa.
All right, you
Brian,
guys
am I
get
passing
to
this
pick which one you want.
Yep.
Oh man, it's a pick your poison.
It's a
thing.
pick your poison kind of deal here.
One of them
this
is going
one.
to be Jeremy's
Andy, you want
used
that one?
underwear.
All right, 3 left.
Andy, which
I'll
one
take-
Give me the one in Katie's hand.
I was going to take Katie
Yeah,
left,
choose
but
2 hands.
I'll take Katie right.
Okay.
This is
Let's
my
do
left.
That's
Well,
how that works.
oh, then
And then so Andy, you get the leaving.
These
my
are our
perspective
gifts.
is all screwed up.
Okay.
So-
So just to let everyone know,
Ryan's going crazy already.
I was gonna say, just to let everyone know, there's gonna be a lot of loud crinkling and stuff. If you
true.
want to see this should be on YouTube as well.
All right.
So
We're not banned from YouTube.
No,
No,
we're
we're
fine.
Yeah.
unbanned
Yay.
from
Not
YouTube.
even after our previous statement.
Oh, they say we're buffering really bad tonight, unfortunately.
Well,
Sorry to hear that, folks.
oh well.
No, we're fine.
One of our listeners just said so.
Oh, I'm actually looking. We haven't lost any frames.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
You're watching us. You should know how bad
Yeah.
we were buffering.
I'm not actually staring at the screen. I just have us up.
Oh, okay.
Are we
Did you see the thing
Yeah,
my
just-
brother said
Are we
about
looking?
like 2
Yes,
episodes
open
ago?
'em.
Which one?
He said that he thought that we got a new laugh track, but it
Yes,
was just
I
you
saw that.
chuckling at your own jokes.
My jokes are hilarious, by the way.
Brian, you didn't get the one I was hoping that
I was
you'd
hoping
get.
you'd get a different one. Oh,
Nathan did.
Nathan got it.
Did I get the one that I'm the only person who wants it? Oh, Brian, you want to trade candies?
Sight unseen.
You want to trade for these mint M&Ms? I know those are your favorite.
Aha. Aha, I got the follow pot. I want follow stuff in it though.
Oh my fucking god!
We all got
All right,
follow things.
spoiler for Christmas. I got everybody.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
More
Now we have one.
follows.
We didn't get ourselves one, so now we
No
have
touching. Put those back. You'll pick those later. God damn it! I should have went first.
one. Good call, Katie.
We're so good at this game.
High five. There's such a cool idea.
I did it last year. You idea
know.
stealing
I
sons
I
of bitches. And I almost didn't do Fallout because the first place I went there was only one Fallout one available, but they had a whole bunch of horror movie ones. So they had and so I almost did horror movie instead, and they had like a little pinhead and a little leather face.
Sure.
But then I'm like, no, fuck it. So I went on like a day-long quest to find more Fallout ones.
Oh my goodness.
Assholes.
I still have mine from last year. He sits on my
I did
calculator.
too. Mine
It's
is on
just on
my
my computer.
Mine's up on my fireplace. I have
Hopefully, I
Tron.
got something horrible. Yeah, excellent.
Which one do
Oh,
you
you
get?
got Grim Reaper.
Grim
Sprint.
Reaper Sprint? Nice. I like Grim Reaper Sprint.
I don't play the game enough to know.
Mysterious Stranger.
Mysterious.
He shows up when you go in vats and he kills people.
That's true, he does.
And I got a ghoul.
Oh, nice.
action.
I'm a ghoul. That's my ghoul impression. Hey, I go next. You fuckers.
I'm so happy.
Everybody pick a box.
I like this one.
We all got a box. Wait,
Surprise!
Yeah, but now we'll be able to trade and
That's
stuff.
true.
Because we'll have like
get
a
off-
supply.
The audio of this is not going to be great at all.
It's gonna be amazing.
The audio's fine. You bastards.
Okay, well,
Hey,
to be fair,
you know
when
what's going to be
hear
awesome,
Gotham, I
Nate?
was like, that's
When you see what
perfect.
my gift is.
Is it more Fallout?
Oh yeah, I think I win.
No, it's not.
He got that
A pair of mysterious strangers. A pair of mysterious strangers.
They are not so mysterious.
All
It
right,
seems.
what do we got here?
I got science guy.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, I got the Black
I
Widow. Look
got-
at her with her 6 arms.
Ooh, Black Widow's fun. Oh, Action Boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Action
pretty
Boy.
legit.
Oh, I got Nerd Rage. Badass.
What do you get,
Nice.
Katie?
I don't know. I have to open it still.
Nobody's got the Brotherhood of Steel. Oh, you got a Raider with the double mohawk. I like
That's
her.
also solid.
That was my favorite haircut when I played a girl in Fallout 3. That haircut is not available to me in Fallout 4. I probably need to find a magazine.
I'm sure
There are, yeah. There's not, which is interesting to follow because you get so many. There's so many custom like
What'd you
tattoo
get?
things you find for characters.
Which one did you get?
I got the action book.
Oh, what did you get the first time?
The Grim Reaper.
Oh yeah, Grim Reaper.
It's pretty cool. A pair of Mysterious Strangers is actually
It's actually kind of awesome.
It is.
If
They're
Andy
gonna-
actually bought those for us, I hope you get a third one. And you'll have like a doo-wop group.
I unfortunately did not. I was teasing.
Oh, well, that was amazing.
It would have been great
So,
if we
who's
all
next?
accidentally got each other that.
I'll just go with some random. So here, whose name is on here? This is for Jeremy.
Hooray!
I wrapped him in cardboard.
It's hard. It's quality wrapping.
Oh, smell that chocolate and mint mixed together.
This is Nathan's. It's heavy. Oh yeah, show the book. It's good.
I got the little kid's first big book of the world.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So you can learn your
continents there are.
yeah.
It tells you.
Look.
These are customized gifts per the person. This is for Nathan.
Ooh, it's heavy.
Australia is a country and a continent in one. The blue-winged kookaburra is the picture.
Kookaburra says,
You're actually gonna learn from this book.
I'm gonna learn so many things.
That's the amazing thing. Is this is actually.
This is Africa.
This is what Africa. Did you guys know this is what Africa looks like? That's Africa. Go figure. All right, sorry.
yeah, you are set now with.
I'm going to be over here learning. You
we're
guys
gonna
go.
quiz you later.
This podcast.
Alright, so Nathan has a box. Who else has a box? This box goes to Katie's
Hey!
box.
Hey, I don't need your shit anymore, Jeremy.
What shit is that?
I don't need your fucking Night Angel trilogy because I got Brett Weed's Night Angel complete
Nice.
trilogy as a Christmas present.
Nice.
So Brian's gift to
Brian's gift to
himself is
himself.
that I will participate
Now
in the
that you will
podcast.
participate in the podcast.
Well, I bought it as a big box because I felt that was kind of obnoxious because I don't know if you like big boxes, so I wanted to make sure. I got Katie.
Katie got Elf.
Elf.
Because she was telling him how she didn't want to watch it.
And she hasn't seen Elf, and I got
I
Andy this
haven't
year's
seen
box.
No,
Elf is legitimately good.
Okay.
I may or may not watch it.
You should. Elf is legitimately
You would like
good.
it. It's got your favorite song in it. It's sung very, very well. This is for Kerr. Kerr has 2 presents in this box because he's new to the podcast.
There you go.
Man, I feel so special.
You are.
Oh wait,
Man,
well,
question.
I'll reveal mine.
There
Yeah,
are parent
really.
tips in this
Yeah,
book.
baby.
There are
And he
parent
got a
tips?
cat bug pop cap thing. Is
Games that
Yeah.
kids
like
and
He's
dogs-
angry.
Oh, this is the.
it like evil cat
Oh
bug?
man,
No,
this
it's
is the best thing ever.
I can't remember the name of it. It's not it's cat bug, but
It's
I think it's
the name of it. It's in the front and bottom.
well, it just says cat bug.
I thought it said Adventure Cat Bug or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's his away team, cat bug. Cat bug's
Okay.
away team.
I have an adventure here
Sweet.
to watch animals like a scientist.
Yeah.
In my book.
Oh,
what do you-
that goes on.
I do have some minion tattoos,
Nice.
Well, because he's the tattoo guy.
He is
Yeah.
the tattoo guy. That's true.
And minions.
and then just
favorite.
to
I
make
like
sure
that
that
one.
I stay occupied.
You're also
my
the
goodness.
painter.
I also have the Minion Activity Fun Case with stickers.
Yeah, and
Nice.
paints.
Are you a big
And-
Minion
Now
fan?
your next set of things.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
I've got,
amazing.
like, all sorts of kind of crazy.
Well,
things to do
Brian
with
is a
myself.
fan of the Minions.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah, I love Minions so much. I got cancer
Let's see
from
what
opening this box.
That was the goal.
Hooray.
I'm just glad that I found Minion things that were both for painting and tattoo. I thought it was
That is
kind
kind
of
of
amusing.
amazing.
I was like, I got to buy both.
Did you guys know that Angkor Wat
have
in
one of those?
Cambodia was originally a Hindu temple?
What is
its
this?
name means City of Temples.
I don't know.
We did know that from playing
Oh,
Civilization
that appears
4.
to be about the same size.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
This is my
No,
guess.
from
I
Nate
tried to be.
Brian.
I tried to be kind of thoughtful.
Here, I'll rest
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, that was a terrible idea.
This is my first rodeo.
This is also wrapped presents
I
too.
know,
Yeah.
this is like
Hey, ours were wrapped.
gift box.
Gift box.
Mine's booze.
And wrapped.
Yeah, they were
It was
wrapped in
in
there.
the gift box.
I have a light up Godzilla.
Did you work together with Brian?
No, it was just by fate.
Just by fate, I get Impossible Bear as well.
There as well.
With what?
A gas-powered stick.
With a gas-powered stick.
You know what the best thing about gas-powered stick is, Andy?
Never runs out of gas.
Never runs out of gas.
I got a mermaid bottle opener. Put it there with my book. And
Oh, it's actually-
shot glass, spirit shot glasses. High quality glassware and dishwasher safe.
Yeah, when
I've
I was
never heard
when
of
I
this
was at your
podcast.
place yesterday, your shot glasses seemed a little
My
dated.
shot glasses are well, like I just never really bothered to like buy nice shot glasses because
Well, now
Okay,
you've
so-
got them, and now you have a.
now I have nice shot glasses.
Just a Godzilla.
And
And another
mermaid
bottle opener.
Oh my gosh,
Nice.
your bottle
With
glows.
light and sound.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
What?
I'm so
Her
excited
bottle
about
has an
this.
LED light-up display on the front of it.
It has an on button.
And you can change the message. You can download an app on your phone to type in
my
a new
God.
message.
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I was gonna do the "I love you" one, but I thought it would be a little weird.
Show that to the camera.
Yeah, you gotta show
Yeah,
the
you
camera,
gotta-
Katie.
I figured you like vodka enough, so now you can have a conversation with it.
It's in Mazia ready.
That's all
Like
I
you
need
can
to
Talk with your
Sad.
vodka.
That
He
is.
already talks to your
Thank
vodka. I got bamboo puzzles.
Nice.
Yeah, I was kind of flowing down the logic path. I was like, you're a logical person. You like analyzing things.
Puzzles?
I'll go
So-
with
I have a couple from them, and I keep
Statements
it work.
on
They're fun to
puzzles.
fidget with.
go. I got mine.
I'm gonna put this on the floor.
So mine
Here,
correspond,
give it here.
except for two of them, sadly, correspond with what microphone color cord you have.
Oh, so I got a black one then?
No, you don't get black.
I get
What?
a green one.
No, you
You're
don't get
probably the
green
one that
either.
doesn't so two
So
of them
this
don't
is a
correspond.
So you're getting blue when blue is to your left?
Yeah, Brian's blue.
Brian.
No.
So none
Look
of
at-
oh,
no,
oh,
look
yeah.
Look at the
Oh.
paper inside.
Side.
Gotcha.
That is
Who's this?
yours.
This is me? Oh, it's not black.
Because I thought you were green.
Ah, I see. Katie's green.
I had to try to. I couldn't really plan it because I wasn't sure where everyone was going to sit.
Well,
that is
hard.
obviously Nathan's.
Yeah, because he's red.
Oh, well, it's
Just
Ryan.
be very
He's not too
careful.
far away.
Got it.
It's heavy.
Got it. No, you
Oh
can't.
my
know
god,
it.
it is heavy.
Yeah, I told you.
This is Katie's.
Pink for Katie. Oh my goodness.
Don't break it.
Got it. Nailed it.
Fucking heavy.
Well, when I
And
reached for it, there was nothing there to grab.
Andy got us bricks to start
Yes, he
a
did.
building.
yep, there you go.
It's just bricks.
Huzzah.
Crinkle, 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 valued listeners.
They love the sun. They missed it. They always say, man.
Swedish fish. I'll suck it, I win.
I got
Cookie
chewy
dough.
warheads.
I
I
got
got
cookie dough
gummy
minis.
bears.
Ooh, those are also tasty.
Boom.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Oh, grenadine.
Grenadine for Brian.
This will
What
come
do I
in
got?
handy.
I got some amaretto. Andy knows me well.
I got some Long Island iced tea mix.
Andy knows you well as well.
I got more vodka.
Katie got double vodka.
Double vodka.
This is vanilla vodka though.
Ooh, that's pretty
this goes
legit.
into
Ooh, and
the
some nice,
bakery
Throw
today.
and some
gummy
exciting
bears,
chocolates.
Katie.
You can
make
Yeah, I
vodka
got you more
gummy bears.
chocolates because the grenadine wasn't as much.
You can get vodka gummy bears.
So I got the Swedish shift for Jeremy because Swedish Muslim Jeremy.
Swedish Muslim Jeremy, which
Yeah.
we do all miss.
I got Katie the
Vodka
gummy
gummy
bears because I expected Katie to make vodka
Vodka gummy
gummy bears. I figured Nathan would be drinking the Long Island iced tea mix when he was playing Fallout, so that's why I got Warheads.
There you go.
Awesome.
And then I just got Kraken and then Charleston Chew for Brian because I couldn't think of anything else.
That's all right. Charleston Chews are really legit, and so is Kraken.
And they're endorsed by Nixon.
Well,
How
that
about a
makes
nice
them that much
Charleston
better.
Chew? The table's looking very crowded, by the way, on the screen.
So yeah.
That's all right.
Crowded with
Oh yeah,
love.
if you guys want to save the
Crowded
bags,
with love.
I'll use them next year.
Oh no, very cool. I'm
Okay.
excited. I feel like I made out like gangbusters. I can sit with my figurine in front of me while I eat candy and take shots of amaretto while reading all about the world.
I do like that Katie got the only female Fallout character
Possible.
Yeah.
minifig.
That's
so.
sexist.
Well,
Yes.
Black Widow's got to be female, right?
Fuck you.
What is the man version of that perk called?
Lady Killer.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything on?
Oh my god, by the way, in Fallout 4, get Aqua Girl or Aqua Boy as soon as fucking possible because that is a mandatory upgrade.
I don't know that it is, but it is an amazing perk.
Dude, 10 rads per second, like water just is pure radiation death. And it's so
Yeah.
convenient just to be able to swim across a river instead of looking for a
Not if
bridge.
you want the radiation heals you, though. Because
Yeah,
that
that
is
is
true.
true. Or
Being
if
able
you
to swim
carry a
underwater and
hazmat suit.
explode.
I carry a hazmat suit.
Explore.
I can't just swim underwater the whole time, but I give zero fucks about radiation in the hazmat suit.
I just swim underwater all the whole time.
That works too.
By the way, when you get Spectacle Island, make sure that you have your provisioner be a ghoul, because if you have a human be your provisioner to go to and from Spectacle Island, they die.
Really?
Yeah, because they die of radiation trying to swim to the island.
I sent a provisioner to the McKinney Farm or whatever it is that's way off in the water. That's probably real bad.
Yeah, it might be.
I might
what do
use that
provisioners
for-
do differently than
I'm gonna
sailors?
throw up.
They're the
Provisioners
ones
are the ones
that
that do the
link
trade routes.
the trade routes. When you do trade routes.
No.
I got somebody to trade me Fallout 4 for
no
Black
bet.
Ops 3.
That's
What?
legit.
you got
Can
it.
I have some?
So you're going to fall at 4 soon.
Trading
I will
me.
probably Tuesday.
That's
You'll
good
probably
stuff.
get-
Nice.
That's just a clear upgrade, quite frankly.
Pretty much.
You'll probably get further than me.
Have you not
Yeah.
gotten very far?
I ended up getting a bunch of painting projects to do right when I got Fallout 4.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
My problem is I just can't focus on the storyline because I'm too busy doing all the side quests.
If you don't want double Mysterious Stranger, I will trade you my ghoul.
If you want a mysterious stranger, you can do that. Don't feel obligated to trade because I have doubles.
I am equally happy with... Actually, the ghoul's pretty awesome. I love your Mysterious Stranger. Can I just take your Mysterious Stranger?
What? Oh, you want to switch?
Yeah.
Add a bunch of guns.
Mysterious Stranger is solid. I actually really like the Nerd Rage one. That's fun. I might bring this one into work.
Well, yeah,
That
obviously.
makes sense.
Like, if it were any other Fallout one, I might not bring it in, but that one's kind of perfect for work.
Good. You got the right
It's
one.
covering almost all the aspects of cute for me.
None of us got the Brotherhood of Steel guy.
No, I think we must have missed a couple because they're 12 total.
Yeah, we didn't get the Super Mutant, we didn't get the Brotherhood of Steel guy, and we didn't get the Tunnel Snake.
I thought they used to tell you, like...
The guy in the black leather jacket with a little switchblade. He might not be a Tunnel Snake, but he sure fucking looks like a Tunnel Snake.
Sure.
When those first came out, they used to tell you, like, how likely you were to get one in a box.
They do, the Fallout is an even 1 in 12. They
Oh,
don't
well,
have,
that's
they don't
good.
have rare ones. It says on
Yeah.
the box
Yeah.
1 in 12 chance of each of them.
Yeah, because I remember when they first came out, they had, like, their equivalent of, like, the shiny ones, where it was, like, the translucent or glow-in-the-dark, and I was just like, man, this is gonna...
Mine was a rare one, Mars Attacks one.
Yeah, you didn't get like one of the see-through ones that was like 1 in 100, but the Mars Attack, the Martian was like 1 in 64 or something.
Well, and I think one of the first ones that came out was the one with all the different movie heroes or comic book heroes, and the real rare one, like, people were selling, I think, the Rocket Man for like $100 online.
The Rocketeer?
Yeah, the whatever his name, the
Rocketeer.
dude with the helmet.
The Rocketeer.
Yeah, it's the Rocketeer.
Okay,
It's
I just know him as
Rocketeer, Brian.
Rocket
God
Man.
damn it.
It's a
Are
jackal.
you talking about the Rocketeer?
Sure.
Is it a jackal?
I'm talking about the Rocketeer then.
Movie's so good.
So does anyone else want a shot glass to just take some shots while we record?
I am out
I
of
just will
commission
put a
for the
straw
day.
in there.
Oh.
Yeah, how'd you feel today?
I felt fine. I only had 3 beers while I was at your place. Like, I was fine. I just
Not a
like
gallon.
something. Yeah, that was different. I went a little more conservative this time, but I don't know. I must have ate something today and just made me feel like shit.
Well, that's
So
not good.
I'm living just fine. I thought somebody broke into my house while I was sleeping, but your vodka just rolled off my couch.
That would have been unfortunate.
I just got home and I was like, I'm gonna put this here and sleep whatever this is off. And then I woke up and, like, somehow the vodka bottle was standing straight up in the middle of the room, and I thought somebody came. I thought I heard somebody come in, but
Ghost did it.
yeah. So it was the ghost of Christmas vodka. But
It's a
no,
friendly ghost.
everything.
Ghost.
Yeah, everything was intact and in one piece. So
Nice. Yeah, the only people that really got wrecked at the party last night, and it was nothing like 2 years ago, but the only people that got even mostly wrecked were Keith and Jim.
it seemed like the blonde lady got lit pretty well too.
Jordan, or
Pfeiffer?
Jordan Pfeiffer was fairly inebriated.
No, the one with the glasses.
She was here earlier.
Lori?
Was it Kayla maybe?
Oh, Kayla was there.
She was there.
I didn't think Kayla left early.
I don't know. She came
I
down
don't
to play telestrations or cat poop with us.
Was that
And
Kayla?
she was straight lit.
Well, I know she was definitely drunk. If
Well,
Kayla's who you're thinking of, she was definitely drunk.
Speaking of Eat Poop You Cat, Telephone Pictionary being played, friggin' Jackie ruined a magical thing.
What?
Because
I thought it was Casey
sure-
who did it.
oh, you're right. It was Casey that ruined it. I'm
Okay, so
sorry.
Casey
Casey
ruined
ruined
a
a
magical
magical thing because the sentence I started with was Genie. For my wish, I wish my dick had tits
Okay.
because I figured that would have some great drawing.
That-
And Amanda drew it to the point where Brian got it exactly.
Wow.
Like
That's
you know,
actually impressive.
like wishing for dick tits from a lamp. You know, so
Okay.
not the word for word, but the
But
correct
pretty
thing.
still, right
close.
thing, yeah.
And so then Jim drew a woman, but he got dick tits backwards because she
he
had
had tit
dicks.
pics.
He had dicks for nipples hanging off of her tits. So then it went to Casey, who just wrote Christina Aguilera.
Well, I don't know that she ruined it. I feel like she,
Well, the point is that, of course, the person who drew that, like, there were no dick tits. Like, the dick tits were gone from the equation. So they drew a singer, which then the last person wrote Lady Gaga. So they were kind of brought the dick tits back into it, because that's a very Gaga thing to do. But just, you had dick tits. You just write Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, the game that always turns to penises, when you start with penises, went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to during the I think it was even that game of telestrations. I got to zap Keith twice.
Nice.
First one was when I told him, or no, I told you that I needed an MGD to wash down his shitty chocolate beer.
Like it's $4 beer.
And Keith was like,
And then the other one was my lead out was I was trying to get some interesting things to happen in telestrations, so I decided to write a person eating a lollipop sloppily, And then by the time it got to Keith, we got to learn more about his childhood because it didn't go anywhere. It didn't diverge at all.
Child with lollipop.
Yep.
Child with lollipop.
Boom. And that was all it was. And then it gets to Keith, and it was child with lollipop, ellipsis, all alone. And then it turned into a shunned person with a lollipop.
That's actually
Shunned the man with the lollipop. But yeah, why did he feel the need to add that he was
I know,
all
it's just
alone?
like-
All alone. Huh? No, I don't want any more of those.
Well, you already had one, so I get some
Right.
flavors then.
She
That
took them
wasn't
for free.
the- yeah.
It wasn't a trade. She just
know what I-
raided you. If somebody raids your territory and steals a bunch of crops, you don't think go back and go, want to trade this time? No, they just raid you.
Jeremy's bad business.
That's your life now.
My settlement needs more defenses.
Jeremy the victim.
I am.
So anyway,
Well, anyway, it was a good party. I got to hear Keith and Jim argue fairly drunkenly about John Wick and
I
its
am-
goodness or badness as a movie.
Angry to hear about that.
I'm where you are. That's why we wanted to share it with you.
So
Like I would take somebody disliking so many different movies. Like John Wick is nearly flawless.
it's a solid
Jim
movie.
finds
well, they do
every
kill a
moment of
puppy. I
John
don't
Wick
know how I feel
terrible.
about that.
You know how you feel about it? Furious and
Furious.
depressed. And you know how you're supposed to feel? Furious and depressed. It's a very, very well executed emotional hook.
It is. It's well done.
Like the blood trail leading to John Wick when he wakes up
Yeah.
is the most brutal and necessary thing I've seen in a film in recent years.
It was really well done. I thought it was a really good movie. I'm excited to see the second one. With him with the new dog all grown up.
Is that dog gonna die too? Because I
I don't know.
want
We'll
to
find
see
out.
it.
I
the
want-
picture shows him with the dog alive, but
Oh, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, well, there was
all I saw was
a
just.
dog
I
alive
assume it's
this
going to be
time
like
as
the
well.
the poster or whatever. It's just a picture of like a city street, and it's like John Wick and his dog, and the dog's big.
It's not just like a fan-made thing.
I don't think so.
It was.
I'm
It was.
pretty sure
It's a
an
picture of Keanu Reeves walking the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
that's
from
cool.
the from the set of John.
Yeah,
Wick
maybe
2.
it's
that's
from the
cool.
set, but it's definitely like a thing that happens.
You guys
I
eat
would
Chinese?
want spin-offs of all the other characters.
You guys eat Chinese often in Madison?
I do.
I do.
Do you go to Double Ten ever?
I have not been adult.
You should go there because it's the best Chinese place in Madison, in
Better
my
than VIP?
opinion.
Where did that come from? We're
No,
discussing something.
trust
We're
me.
talking
It's,
about dogs
it's gonna
dying.
it's gonna move.
Oh,
in,
they serve
it's gonna
dog.
flow into
Oh.
it.
Yes.
The owner has a picture of her and Keanu Reeves in the restaurant, so I think that if Keanu Reeves approves, then
Then it must be.
it is the best place in Madison.
Where is Double Ten?
It's on University Avenue by. It's in a little mini mall. It looks really like a shady place, and you walk
Like
in and
across from Hildale, kind of.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I know
like
where that mini mall is.
Why don't they just call themselves 20?
I don't know what the deal is. I think Chinese restaurants are just oddly named because of translation issues. But
Yeah.
when I went there, I was like, okay, well, it seems decent. And then like a ton of Chinese people started coming in to eat, so
And
I
that's how
figured,
you know.
yeah,
That's a good sign. VIP often has Chinese people.
Well, I was telling Brian about Taqueria Guadalajara is the correct place to get Mexican
Yeah.
in Madison.
I actually really like. What the hell is it actually called?
Qdoba?
Los Gemelos. It's behind a little Mexican grocery store off of Odana. There's another one downtown, but I've heard it's not as good. But the one off Odana, literally you have to walk through a Mexican grocery store to get into the restaurant.
That
It's the
seems
only
like
way
a-
in, and it's legit.
seems like a big deal.
Some Sunday we need to have early dinner / late lunch at Guadalajara on Park Street.
Well, we
So I
haven't
can
had
introduce all
a
of you.
podcast lunch in a while.
We haven't had a
meal.
podcast lunch. We should do that.
So one of our users brought up a possible topic. It's
They
short.
did mention it. Yeah, go ahead.
One big thing that happened in the last couple of weeks, I think it was last week, Asmodee, who bought out Fantasy Flight a while ago, they changed their policy of to sell things. They've kind of gone the GW route in regards of they have banned online sales of their game,
Yeah.
which is causing kind of a bit of an online ruckus.
Right.
And they also changed the rules, and like distributors used to be able to buy games and then sell to the customers, and cutting out the whole retail, and they kind of put the kibosh on that too. So people are like kind of like maddish at them because they want their stuff sold in stores because people play in stores. So it's kind of cool because I mean they own an insane chunk of the market. So if they say you can't sell their stuff on the market, that's a huge
Their stuff's a big
part
deal.
of the board game world that now can't be found on the
Well, there aren't
internet.
that many good Fantasy Flight games, though, right, Brian?
Yeah. Well, but Asmodee and them, they own because they're
Yeah, between the two of
Between
those,
the two of
that's a
them.
huge, like you said, a huge chunk of
Agreed.
board gaming.
so blocking that from the internet is just an interesting thing. That was kind of the big game
Are
related
they
news.
are they just wanting things to go through them?
They want things
instead?
to go through retail stores. They want people
through the stores.
They want people to go into stores and buy stuff, which I can't. I mean, I can't frown upon that at all. I mean, I buy 95% of my board games in stores anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to buy things at Pegasus
So.
because
But it does hurt people in like other countries sometimes. Like GW's big online thing hurt Australia and America because they didn't have good stores. So it's great if you have good stores. But it hurts those people who don't have the good stores to go to.
Yeah,
exactly. I feel like you kind of get into this weird, like, double-handed. We're doing it for the good of the people, but we're doing it for the good of us too. Because, like, selling directly from your own website, I don't know if Asmodee or Fantasy Flight does that, but when you do have a system like that, it's kind of dickish. Because, like, there are a lot of people who they're either not around a local game store, or their local game store is just so shit that they don't want to ever go there and give them money. So now they've either got to travel further or buy it directly from the seller, which I don't think is good either. I really don't have problems with online discount retailers. I think that they're a important part of the industry because a lot of game stores have this like entitled. They've kind of taken that entitled statement of buy local as more of a guilt trip instead of anything. So I will buy local if you're not garbage. Like if I walk
we're lucky that both game stores. Well, there's more than two, but we're lucky that all the game stores in Madison are good stores.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't hate any of the store owners. They don't treat us like shit. Like,
No.
Yeah.
There's
not everybody's in that position.
Yeah, there are some, like some stores that I've frequented in the past. You know, I once had an item not on back order, but on just order for almost 6 months, and I just gave up and decided to buy it on my own. Some of them just don't keep like a clean shop. Like I think that's another important thing to do. And
that's why the online thing can help. Man, there are some stores. I mean, there are people who will go to Pegasus or Last Square or Misty every week and play games there with their friends
every week,
but they refuse to spend money because they can save an extra 1% online or 2%. They're like, why would I spend money locally when I can save money? Because I want to save money. And then the store closes. Like, why did the store close? I don't understand what happened.
Yeah, I want to be able to
They'll be the same person to complain when that happens.
Yeah, it's true.
But I do agree there are stores that are shit, and there are areas with no stores.
Some stores deserve to close.
Yeah,
you know, but.
It's a weird thing.
Well, and it depends where you live. Somebody made the comment about Australia. I think it was you made the comment about Australia. One of our listeners said the rural South is rough. Like the rural South of the U.S. is just a rough place to try to find a game store. And they're not wrong. When I lived in Texas, man, it's dry down there.
It depends on where you're at too. I mean, like when I was at Fort Hood, we had a couple game stores.
But I did not. I was an hour north.
Well, I know
Houston,
Houston has some pretty shitty, terrible game stores. Asgard Games. I've heard terrible things of that place. Just trash.
Well, it's really only the people there that I hear.
That hasn't closed down yet?
Yeah, I thought like it was infested with rats.
I heard
and stuff.
No, not rats. But I heard it expanded into a bar too.
Yeah,
so you could just think about that.
No, I think you're just confused because the owners are crippling alcoholics.
That's probably going on.
I mean,
we were making up things. That was too real.
I mean, that was true. That is true. And they have a bar.
Oh, you do not want to run a bar as a crippling alcoholic.
The other thing
it'd be a great few months.
The other thing that comes to mind when talking about these discount online retailers, like the big three, at least if you're in the War Machine community, is like Discount Games, Mini Market, and used to be Texas Toy Soldiers. All three of those locations, all three of those online retailers are also physical locations too. So like when you look at their strategy of selling for online cheap, they're also selling in their store cheap.
Well,
and growing
to
their
be
own
fair,
local
I
area.
know a place like they've had a physical store because they had to, and it was very like they have. I mean, I have no idea what this game. I have no idea what Discount Games has, but I know Miniature Market for a while or one of the big online for a while. It might even be them had a physical location because they had to by policy, but they
Games
had
Workshop
shit in their stores.
The Games Workshop is one of those that basically force you to have an
so some of those
brick and mortar place.
So some places might have a physical store, but really 90% is found online. You go into their store, there's shit there, and it's awful.
Well, I know like the big three that were there. I know Texas Toy Soldiers ended up moving from online and physical store sales to just physical store sales. So it kind of makes sure that they're like their heads in the right place as far as the morality of gaming. But I have a less of a problem with online retailers than I do for game developers or game companies deciding to move most of their sales in an online direction. Like with GW selling so many exclusives and ripping stuff off of production to where it can only be bought through them is just bullshit. And I think that if that's where like the industry evolves to eventually, I think that some of this like we want our games sold in stores only is kind of like the cover up of being shady later. But that's just me being really extreme and tinfoil hat about it.
Nobody else had any further comments, if that's what you're wondering.
Just curious.
Yeah, no. I mean, the guy from the rural South, but other than that, they were just like, they had some thoughts, but...
Madison we are in
Spoiled.
an anomaly. I mean, we have stores that actually respect each other and actually, as far as I understand, they do cooperate with each other if we're trying to schedule times for events.
Well, and like we have people come into town mostly for War Machine tournaments, but even some of my other friends, and any one of the game stores in the greater Madison area would be like blow their mind within a 30-minute drive of their house. And we have at least 3 that I know that I frequent, which is I'm Bored, Pegasus Games, and Misty Mountain. Like I'm probably forgetting some, but like all 3 of those are amazing.
There's Netherworld downtown.
I don't know that one as well, so I can't
it's more
say how
of a
amazing
magic
they
store.
are.
It is more of a magic store.
But the 3 I mentioned are all amazing. Like they all have amazing board game selection, and less so at I'm Bored, but the other 2 both have great War Machine deal. The War Machine selection and the other model selection, they'll really work with you at both Pegasus and Misty.
I think Misty is the least of the... Misty is the most stereotypical nerd game store looking of the 3.
Yes.
But Pegasus and I'm Bored, especially I'm Bored, like... When you walk into I'm Bored, that's a place that looks like it could be inside of a mall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like random normal people could go in there and be like, "Oh, look, these are things," and look at me browse. Like it's not like this nerd area with like our dirty Claven.
It feels super family friendly, which is hard for some of those game stores.
And he even puts all of his family friendly stuff in the front. He really puts on the kids and the family stuff right in the beginning, so you're just entrenched in that the second you walk in the door.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good idea. I think that more stores need stuff like that because like. I understand they're probably not making a lot of money off of the family that comes in and buys one board game for the family a year for Christmas, but it's an important part of the community.
Well, and it's
offering those types of games is a big deal,
and just not being this weird thing. Like like it's.
You don't want to feel dirty.
Like you walk in I'm Bored, you're comfortable. It doesn't matter if you're a 90-year-old person who's never seen a board game in your life, or a 16-year-old mega nerd who plays Magic every night, or whatever. I mean, it's a clean, organized store.
Because I don't feel weird walking into Pegasus, but they're probably like compared to I'm Bored, Pegasus is probably more intimidating for a normal than I'm Bored is. Like I'm Bored, it's super welcoming as a store. They really do, and I think they did a good job. I think it was intentional, and I'm glad they do that. And they still host events, and they still do all that kind of stuff. That like I mean, they don't do War Machine, but like they do other types of events like. Weren't they big on like
every night? Every night they have a thing. Every night a certain event. They do
a really good job.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Spoiled.
So it's interesting. It's an interesting. Because the internet's not going away, and buying it is like
what
it is occasionally. I'll look online. I'm like I got Pandemic online because it was just. It was over half off, and I'm like, well, I'll buy this one game out of 50, but it was so cheap, I'll just do this one time, and then I'll,
Well, the other thing is if you want to ship it to play someone, because like I bought a game for one of my friends, but she's down in Champaign, and it's like I'm not gonna go buy a game and then pay for shipping.
Yeah.
So if I go through Amazon, I just get the shipping for free.
Yep.
The interesting thing about the internet not going away, and this goes to non-gaming related, but it's just kind of a interesting conversation to me. Yeah, just porn. I love porn. Well,
I love porn.
Let's talk about that for a while. No, so
spoiler alert.
So Staples, Office Depot, and Office Max are the big 3 office supply stores. Okay, Office Depot bought Office Max almost 2 years ago now.
Yep.
Staples put in an offer to buy Office Depot like a year ago, and then they were waiting for approval, and it got shot down last week by the FTC because you look at it and you're like, oh wait, if all 3 of you are one company, it's a monopoly.
It's a monopoly.
Obviously, it's a monopoly. But the interesting question that I've been posing to people is, this may not be true now, but with the way that the world is and the way that the internet works and everything, there could be a day like every physical store could be Walmart.
Sure.
Okay? And as long as Amazon exists, it's still not a monopoly, right?
Yeah.
At some point, because of the size of the internet, it will be impossible to have a monopoly as a physical store.
Let's look at a niche where this has become just a fact of life. Video game or movie rentals.
Yeah.
So like in Madison, every movie rental place that wasn't Family Video is gone.
Correct.
It's one. I don't know if this is true
Redbox.
across the country. Okay, well that's a weird exception, but actual like stores.
Right.
All of them shut down that weren't Family Video. Family
Pretty
Video
much
bought
is true around the world.
and like I visit other towns and I see the same thing. It's all Family Video. Like they bought up a couple of locations that they liked from their competitors, let the rest go be something else, and it's just Family Video. I don't think they're a monopoly because, quite frankly, like compared to Netflix and compared to these days Hulu and like you said, like
Amazon Prime,
Amazon Prime,
Video.
like they're not. They're just straight not a monopoly. They're
a
in the
monopoly
physical world.
in an industry, right? Exactly. They're a monopoly in an industry that isn't. It's part of it. They have a monopoly in physical stores where you rent a physical movie.
Yes.
And that is a subsection of I want to watch a movie. And because it's only a subsection, it's not a monopoly.
Right.
Well, but I would argue that Staples and Office Depot aren't, because all the places that I've worked, that's not who they order their supplies from.
Actually, and the flip side is that's the reason it was blocked had nothing to do with normal people. The monopoly had nothing to do with if any of the 6 of us wanted to go buy a stapler.
Right.
It was the fact that and it actually had very little to do with the supplies, much as the printing as well. But the thing is, if Yum Food Corporation, who controls Pizza Hut and KFC and Taco Bell, they're all this one umbrella.
Yeah.
They get all of their printing done by Staples.
Right.
All of it.
Sure.
So Staples makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year printing Taco Bell and KFC menus and hats and shirts and posters and everything. And so that's what they were worried about.
Right.
Was that. But so like I said, it's the corporate stuff more than the individual people. But
It's interesting. But
yeah, no, you're right. Like the family video thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. At the end of the day,
Figure out. By the way, that's just an interesting thing that family video still exists, and they all seem like there's always people in the family video.
Well, they're always near residential, and they still have a good selection. If you want to go on, you can't rent Star Wars. You can only buy Star Wars. So people could go to family video and rent Star Wars. Disney doesn't let their stuff get rent.
We were going to watch John Wick. And I had the option to pay $10 to buy John Wick online, or go to Family Video and spend $1.50 to rent it for the night. And I just wanted to watch John Wick once.
Well, and
so
now
I spent
they're doing stuff. They're doing stuff that'll tie in. This will actually help things like Family Video. Because I was at a store and they had a red box. We were looking at the red box and everything. And Trainwreck was there at the red box, and they had a big star on it that said "Guaranteed not on Netflix for 3 years."
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's some contract thing. I
didn't know that was a thing.
I don't know if Red Box specifically paid. I don't know how it was, but it was this big thing, right on it, because it was their big header above the Red Box, and it said not on Netflix for at least 3 years.
Wow.
Well, that's one thing that I've noticed about Netflix is it has less recent stuff. It's
often.
Not...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oftentimes, when I browse my Netflix collection, or not collection, but the Netflix library, I will constantly ask myself, why am I paying for this?
If it was not for the fact I watch so many TV shows on Netflix, I wouldn't have Netflix, but I am a big TV person, so that's what I get. I watch, for every 10 TV shows I'll watch maybe one movie, if that. Or a comedy special or something like that.
And I have something on Netflix. Netflix is my, oh, I don't really have anything to do today. Oh, let's go look at my queue of 30 things that I saved up on Netflix to watch someday.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, and I rewatch things on my iPad all the time. I watch to fall asleep. I either watch Futurama or Family Guy every single night.
Yes, you do.
And so I would have to.
The sadness in Jeremy there is pretty good.
Well, okay, so there's 3 kinds of people in the world, right? There's people that like to fall asleep in a quiet room. There's people that like to fall asleep to a noisemaker, and there's people that like to fall asleep to a TV show. And I think the most opposite on that scale are silent and TV show. And my whole life, have fallen asleep in a silent room, and Katie falls asleep to TV. So, that's just a difference of opinion that we have.
Yeah.
The problem is that even when something's keeping me awake, that means it takes me 15 minutes to fall asleep. And when Katie is actively helping to fall asleep, it still takes her an hour and a half, so I just lose that argument every time.
Sure.
Because I'm like, but it's an extra 10 minutes I'm awake. And she's like, well, it's an extra hour and a half I'm not. Okay, you win.
Should get a baboon attack noise machine.
No. We actually bought a noise machine, but it doesn't help.
Did it have baboon attack?
It did not have baboon
That's
attack.
your problem.
Yep. It had Thunderstorm, which I like. Thunderstorm's nice.
That's different. That's like an environmental thing you grow up with. But Amanda and I are the same way, where I'm a silent sleeper and she's a noise person. But the thing that
someone banging a drum.
Exactly, she doesn't like
so
that.
relaxing.
Setting vodka bottles up straight in the living room.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Well,
I balance them on the edge of the couch.
Make yourself snore. That way you can fall asleep in the quiet and then become her noise machine.
I don't think she'd
I don't
appreciate
think
that.
I snore and it doesn't help for Katie
That's
for some
a
reason.
good idea. It has to be a certain sound. That's not
The
it.
sound of death snort is not it.
Hey, my snore is amazing.
It's amazingly loud. That's true.
Have you tried earbuds or
If
headphones?
cancer could make a sound, it would be your snoring.
Well,
Andy says my snoring's not that loud. He's never woken up to it. And he's
because I'm wearing earphones. All right, I've got earplugs.
That's true.
When we travel, Brian usually stays in the same room as us, and he really likes to not fall asleep to sound. And then him and I get into a big fight about it.
That's true.
So I now have purchased headphones
And I
just for when we're on trial. Yeah. Bear in mind, she doesn't use them when we're at home. Just when she's sharing a room with Brian.
And we have to have a race because we have to be asleep before Jeremy. Because once he falls asleep, we can never fall asleep. So he can't even come to the room sometimes for another half an hour after we go to bed.
They'll be like, we're gonna go to bed, and I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'll call it an evening. They're like, no, go play like another game of War Machine.
Like, you're not allowed back.
Not allowed back. We don't love you.
Well, because I have to fall asleep before Brian can fall asleep, and then Brian has to fall asleep before you fall asleep.
It's a complicated system.
It is.
Why do you have to fall asleep?
It's a system.
Because I still have the iPad on, and it's so
the light of the screen bothers Brian enough.
So it has to time out and have the light go off.
And then Brian can fall asleep.
I need to be in complete darkness and sadness, and then I can fall asleep. And then it works.
Isn't your life complete darkness and sadness?
Well, you know, it's
only when he closes his eyes.
Well, I remember one of the biggest fights we had was like over sound or something.
It was okay. So we were at I don't even remember which town we were in. We were in some little podunk hotel. Like it was a super podunk hotel, and I did my usual. We were in Iowa. We were in Des Moines.
It was Iowa or
it was one of the hotels there in Des
somewhere.
Moines. So anyway, I did my usual stay at the War Machine tournament like an hour and a half later, and I come back to the room, and these two are very nearly physically attacking.
I thought
each other.
It was a morning fight because we didn't leave.
Oh,
we basically we were in a 45-minute standoff. We wouldn't leave because the other was back down on whatever it was.
It was like
so we,
I don't know, but you had the TV was like super loud. The alarm clock was going off.
It was all sorts of things were happening.
Literally every sound. Like we brought a laptop, so they had the laptop doing something at full volume, the TV at full volume, and the alarm clock at full volume, all going off in the room. And I'm just like, what is going on?
For like 45 minutes.
And then you walk in and Brian said, Jeremy, you get your dog on a leash.
That's
that story?
No. Thank God, you guys always end up getting in a room without me, and I'm very glad.
And now you're so glad.
Holy cow.
No, the dog on a leash thing. So when Katie and I were first dating, this was back quite a while ago, we were already friends with Jordan. And Jordan didn't have a girlfriend, but had liked Katie before Katie and I started dating.
Sure.
He was a little weird about it at the time still. He's gotten over it now. But so we went over to Jordan's
place.
He's like,
thank God.
I know, he dodged a bullet.
Boy, he dodged a bullet. So we go over to play Axis and Allies for the afternoon at Jordan's place, because him and I had apartments in the same apartment complex. And so it's me and Katie and Jordan and two other friends of ours. And the two other friends of ours are like the opposite of gamers.
Okay.
The opposite. They told me they thought Pandemic was physically unwinnable. Because them and their group of friends had never won it. And they played it a bunch. Like, they're really bad gamers. So we sit down to play, and Katie's like, I want to be on Jeremy's team. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And then she's like, let's be the Axis. And I was like, okay. So we were about, it's Axis now. So we're like 3.5 hours in, and it's been 3.5 hours of us just like anally raping Jordan and his two non-committed teammates.
Well, okay, so one of them was another girl, and they kept telling her what to do, and so I got up on like my feminist pedestal about that she can make her own decisions. She doesn't need to listen to them.
She doesn't need a man.
And by the way, Jordan, if you were good at this game, maybe you wouldn't be losing so hard. And by the way, did I mention it because
you're losing to a girl?
Because he's a little bit sexist.
He's a little bit sexist.
He's a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
And Jordan turns to me and says, if you don't get your dog on a leash, I won't be responsible for my actions.
Wow!
And the best part was, Jordan and I were friends first.
They've been friends for like 2 years before I even met Katie. Wow. And so, and Katie and Jordan had both been drinking, because we were playing Axis and Allies all day. We were watching Game of Thrones while playing Axis and Allies while drinking all day.
This was that recently? It was when Game of Thrones existed?
It was the first season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, man. So 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe. But, so I was like, guys, I'm going to be the adult here, and I'm going to just separate the two of you. Because this situation is getting out of control.
When Jeremy has to be the adult in the situation, your situation
is really downhill. So I took Katie home. We went back to my apartment, we hung out, and then she went home or whatever. And, the next morning, Katie wakes up, and she's like, I don't really remember leaving Jordan's yesterday. And I was like, oh yeah, you were really drunk, and he was really rude. You were really upset. And so she calls up Jordan to apologize. He refuses. He doesn't answer his phone. So she leaves a voicemail. She's like, hey, I don't know what I did last night. I want to apologize. I wasn't too much of a jerk. 3 months later, him and Katie started talking again. He literally ignored her while we were actively dating, and he was my best friend at work at the time. Yeah. He did not speak to Katie for 3 months.
Now I know how to make him not talk to me for 3 months.
I think he has to tell you to get your dog on a leash.
No,
in order for it to
well,
He
work.
has to tell my husband to get his dog on a leash.
Or he could tell you that about Raylene, which also would also
No, because he
work.
talked to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
he did talk
yeah,
to you.
he
You're
was
right.
talking
He
to
has
you.
tell Raylene to get you on a
No.
leash.
What
Yeah.
you do is you beat him at a game and then tell him how terrible
And
he
rub
is
it
at
in
the
a
game,
lot.
and then maybe if he's a little bit
All right,
smarter.
can I borrow somebody's Haley 1?
If you really for Storm
But
Troll,
you
EE
actually
will do
have
the
a
trick.
dog now, so now it's all confusing.
So my dog needs to play Haley 1.
Yeah, it's your dog.
And beat her and just be like, "Bark, bark, bark, bark." And I'm like, Jordan, my dog fucking beat you.
That'll be a good thing to fill. So even a puppy can't win with Haley 1. Just Arya, just all like.
Poor Arya.
I
No,
did.
Arya,
Arya.
no.
Oh, no, sorry.
I know.
So-
Kaya.
Kaya.
That's my anecdote. I'm telling an anecdote.
Okay, go ahead.
I forgot about that anecdote, but now it's an anecdote.
Tell an anecdote.
Anecdote.
It's your
That
sword.
was a really good
Wow,
anecdote.
good anecdote.
Good word. We all said anecdote. I hope, by the way, go back in time 5 minutes and let me tell you that our drinking game for the day is drink every time one of us says anecdote.
The best part is what yesterday, drunken
anecdote?
Jeremy
Hey, I was
consistently
not that drunk.
consistently calling Keith's daughter Arya.
I did not.
Oh, you
I?
did. You
Oh,
did.
damn it.
Almost all the
To
time.
be fair, I didn't know her name until last night.
Oh,
I've heard her name 5 times. I forget it.
Aurora.
It's Aurora.
Aurora.
Well, and they call her Rory, which is less likely for me to slip
She's
into
named
Arya.
after the Disney character, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I
She's
knew
not
that.
one of Sheena. I'm just throwing out there.
I had a friend who had a child recently who did the same thing. He named him Alistair, and that was the only caster he played. He tried to sell it off like it wasn't for that.
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I mentioned him to Professor Lestar. I'm like, oh, Professor Lestar is named Aurora. He's like, really? Damn it. who was first? I'm like, I honestly don't know, Keith. I honestly don't know. But I think Lust is named after the War Machine one.
That I don't know.
But that ties into, so I got a puppy on Thursday.
Yes, you did.
Puppy!
So
If anybody
cute.
asks, it's a Husky Lab mix. You know,
For apartment reasons.
it's the truth. It's totally a Husky Lab mix. I don't know if my renter listens to this.
Your
Oh,
renter.
God.
just random podcasts like, oh, like one of my tenants is on this.
Oh, the Swedish Fish?
No, go away. Go.
Anyway,
I successfully rated.
so we get the puppy, and she's adorable, and she's the best, and she goes, bark, 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 and I cuddle her, and she sleeps, and it's amazing, and she looks like a polar bear. And so I decide I'm not going to name her, because I will name her... First of all, Raylene almost had a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I'm a huge fan of the tick.
Right.
And so... Every time we go to the zoo and we see the capybaras, who I love capybaras, I always mention to Raylene, funny trivia, capybaras are the only type of dog that can talk. Tick reference, in case none of you are getting it, and that's fine that none of you got it. But the point is, he meets a capybara, he's really head wounded at the time, so he hallucinates it talking, and so he names it Speak, because it can. So Raylene said, I don't know why we're even thinking about names, we all know we're going to name it Speak. And so I'm like, well, that's fucking a self-fulfilling prophecy, there's no way I don't name it Speak now. But we get the dog, and I said, no, I'm not going to name it, because I'll either name it Speak, or I'll name it after a War Machine or Hordes character, because I'm a gigantic goddamn nerd. True. So I step out of the naming convention, and then Raylene is
You're
looking...
such a nerd. You haven't seen. You're the only person here who hasn't seen Star Wars.
Yeah, by the way.
I'm just saying.
Nerd card.
Yeah, I mean, it's been out for a long time.
Every single showing that wasn't 3 in the morning was sold
And
out.
what did I say? I said I'll go with you to the 3 o'clock showing.
You told me that the next day.
I told you that. My response
when
is
I
immediate.
told you that like 8 in the morning.
Oh,
I
I
was
didn't-
referring to the previous night's 3 in the morning show.
Is that what it went?
I managed to get Katie and I tickets 4 days before it released.
4
For
days.
Saturday morning.
When I saw it on not on Friday when I was there were seats open next to me.
See, that's the thing with the reserved seating is people buy them, and then if they don't show up, like you can't.
We had
day of, you know.
In
I bought reserved. The one I bought was reserved seating, and there were tons of seats open when I bought it on.
Right, and that's my point: is I can't buy those tickets because they're reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. My point is there were a bunch of available on Monday morning
Yeah.
when I ordered, because I bought Katie and I's.
Yeah,
on
but you
Monday
bought them 4
morning
days
Saturday.
early. I didn't
I
buy
did
them that early.
I did do that.
But anyway, you're
Point
a
is,
terrible
I bowed
nerd.
out.
Okay.
I think you're the only one who hasn't heard the story yet, so I'll say it to you because they've all heard it already. So they're giving me vacant stares.
Yeah, this is your.
So you'll be my audience proxy.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm gonna bow out of it. So Raylene starts looking at ideas, and we're talking about different languages for snow, or what the Inuits call the polar bear Nanook, maybe whatever, blah blah. And so she goes on a website that's literally just names for white dogs. The whole website is just that's all it is. And she comes across one that turns out to be complete bullshit because I've looked it up afterwards in Google Translate and whatnot. But it claims that Kaya is Japanese for pure. So she sees that, and so she and her daughter start calling the dog Kaya, and I'm just biting my tongue over here.
especially when it should be.
So we called our white German Shepherd Shadow because it doesn't make sense for a white.
Irony.
Yeah.
Well, White Shadow. That was the TV show in the '70s about the basketball coach.
Yeah.
Mary.
It was. Don't make that face.
I believe you.
You don't know your
Snowball
1970s
black.
sports television
There you
shows?
go. Yeah.
So-
That's appropriate.
That is
now?
appropriate.
Snowball.
Mary's cat's name was Snowball.
It was black.
Was
Black.
It
Kilo
was
one
not
of the
Snuffles.
names?
Snuffles was its slave name.
Was Kilo one of
That'd
the
be
names?
nice. Yeah. What was the name of that
Or
supervillain
Ghost.
in Marvel that was all about cocaine?
The Hulk.
No. There was one.
I don't know.
That
I
literally
think-
got his power from cocaine.
I think you're confused with the Dallas Cowboys.
Speaking of Marvel, so we saw the trailer for Civil War when we went to go see Star Wars.
That's true.
And it occurred to me that if you didn't already know what the plot of that movie was supposed to be, the trailer gives no indication of what the plot
Which
is.
is cool.
whatsoever.
It really doesn't. It's like Captain America hates Iron Man. I don't know why. Boy,
Yeah,
that's
for
weird.
some reason.
Weren't they friends like just a minute ago in the last movie?
I was wrong as a DC character, and his name is Snowflame.
Snowflame. That would have been.
That would have been
Yeah.
good. You
I
can
can't get it.
still
Somebody
do
actually
that.
just messaged Snowflame.
Yeah,
They beat you to it.
it did beat me to it.
Good
but-
job. Good job.
I just opened it to sniff it, and then-
Non-nucleodonic. Whatever.
Look at that guy. It's like Ricardo Montalban with a white wig. And he's powered by cocaine.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Check out Snowflame.
He looks like
So
he's powered
so
by
that's
cocaine.
one of the DC's edgy characters, right?
Yeah. Edgy.
Yeah.
That
Well, he
when
was
you
the
say-
villain. It's not like he was the hero and he did.
No,
kilos
but I
of
mean
coke
he's like
for
an
power.
edgy character. I don't.
Here's a picture of him powering up, and the heroes are like, "Stop him before he ignites!" And he's just snorting handfuls of cocaine.
Nice.
Maybe he got a hold of some PCP, and that's where he gets his.
I mean, to be
superpowers.
fair, that sounds like a kind of a fun day.
That does sound like a great way to power up.
It's a Tuesday.
For you, the day I did 7 liters of cocaine was, and so on.
No,
Okay.
I think some of the trailers during the Star Wars film were really interesting,
I
but
know
there
what
was like
Euclidean means.
there were like 3 trailers of like terrible movies that Amanda got kind of excited for, and I was just like, why am I sitting next?
Gods of Egypt. Come on.
Katie wants to see Gods of Egypt.
That has to be a pain train. We need to see
yeah,
Gods of Egypt.
Katie is non-ironically excited about that movie.
What?
I think it looks like it would be an interesting movie. I don't understand why there's so much hate about it.
Well, the new trailer is much different than the original.
Yes.
The trailer in front of the movie is vastly differently presented than the initial trailer.
2 reasons for a lot of hate. Number 1, it looks like it's nothing but bad CGI overloading, nothing of any interest or import or plot significance whatsoever. And number 2, the Egyptian people in it are the color of a sugar cube.
Oh, did they like
Well, okay, but my
1930s
point, like,
Western it?
If it's
They did.
just an action movie, then why would you care if there's any plot?
It's still nice to have plot.
Okay, John Wick had 0 plot.
That's fucking bullshit. John Wick had a lot of plot.
No, the
It
whole
had a very
Oh, man.
simple plot,
John Wick-
but it's
Simple, and
but not a
non-existent
lot.
are 2 different things.
There's a simple plot to the Gods of Egypt.
Yeah.
He took his eyes, and then he gets his eye back, and he goes and attacks
I
them.
guarantee there's a million too much plot to that movie once you get there. And it's all going to be convoluted bullshit that they just throw CGI on top of so that you miss the fact that none of it makes a goddamn bit of
But it's
sense.
Jamie Lannister.
Also, there's snakes that breathe fire and chase them.
Yeah.
That does seem to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Jungle Book sounds better.
So we keep.
That was a good movie. I enjoyed that.
No, the new one.
The book?
They did not.
the
ours did not have.
We
not have
had
that
the
trailer.
Jungle Book trailer. It actually looks really good.
The live action
Live
one.
action Jungle Book.
live.
I mean, that's
Is it the
one
one where
that you could
Mowgli
do.
actually isn't accepted by the village and then goes and has all his animal friends attack and kill everyone in the village?
I don't really know, but there's big
Okay.
giant snakes that whisper to people, and everything's real-ish. Like a 500 foot tall orangutan.
Is
Sure.
real.
Yeah, it's
Like
real.
Mighty Joe Young?
Sure.
The thinking man's King Kong.
I prefer Congo.
Congo.
Yeah. Amy, smart.
Congo is not what we call a good movie.
No,
I'm tight.
even Tim Curry couldn't save that.
Are we
thing.
close?
Even Bruce
are we
Campbell
close
couldn't
to Star
say that
Wars?
for
Oh, yeah, we're very close.
Do we
I
have
don't know how
anything-
close we are. I was just doing this in case we were getting
Nathan's
close.
doing a
You know-
preparatory heading out this.
You know my story about Congo, right?
I don't know your story about Congo.
I probably have mentioned it a few times. I was sitting there assembling models or painting, whatever it was. But it was when Congo.
Andy, we know you. You were assembling models. There's
No,
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 way you were
there's no
painting.
way.
there
This was
was
a
a
long
time.
time ago.
This was
You
a long
might-
time ago. I was painting.
Okay.
So, but I was painting and I wasn't paying attention to the TV, and a commercial came on for Congo, and I heard the standard Bruce Campbell scream, and I basically looked up like, Bruce Campbell? and realize that he has like a 2-minute part in the film.
Oh my god! Have any of you guys watched the new TV show, The Librarians?
No, it's based on that shitty Noah Wiley film, right?
You go to hell.
Yes, it is based on that.
It is based on the amazing Noah Wiley film.
In fairness, I never saw it because why would anybody have seen those movies?
Because they're amazing.
They're actually pretty
They're very
entertaining.
popular.
They're really
and I've
good.
actually watched. I've almost done with the first one.
They're amazing. Anyway,
They're cheesy. It's very cheesy.
Oh, it's very cheesy.
You gotta go in expecting what it is.
Yeah,
It's fine.
if you go in expecting cheesy Indiana Jones, you will love it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was that one?
The Mummy.
The author sued them.
The Mummy was amazing.
What was the one where the author sued them because the movie failed miserably?
Oh, that was
Sahara.
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 That movie,
I love
Sahara, is so good.
But I enjoyed Sahara. Anyway, they made a new TV show that had it just finished the first season, and in I want to say it's the 3rd episode, Bruce Campbell plays Santa Claus, and it's amazing. He plays Santa Claus who has magical powers and is amazing.
But Santa Claus does have magical powers. You
Differently than the way. Okay, so the premise,
as opposed to the normal Santa Claus who takes the bus everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
the premise is that Santa Claus is more of an avatar of goodwill, and so he used to be Odin, and then for a while he was Nicholas the trickster, and now the current incarnation is what we think of as Santa Claus. But it's been the same avatar through all of that time period.
I feel like somebody else borrowed that idea.
Probably.
I mean, there's nothing original ever, so I don't know what you want.
But Bruce Campbell as an avatar of goodwill is hilarious.
How
It's fantastic.
How about Bruce Campbell as
Anything.
as Ronald Reagan?
He's okay as Ronald Reagan.
Bruce Campbell as Elvis.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell as Ash.
It is way
in the
okay.
new
Sorry,
show
Tori. It is way better than Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Fucker.
Yeah, but that one doesn't count. That's not
That's
an
what he
actual...
just said. He said, I doubt it's as good as Crystal Skull.
But Nate was talking about cheesy Indiana Jones films, and honestly, The Mummy.
The first Mummy is fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's a
had
good
that
movie.
be Indiana Jones, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That would have made $1 billion if that was Indiana Jones 4.
Right.
The
Yeah.
Mummy
Correct,
is an
correct.
amazingly good movie.
The Mummy's really solid.
And if it had the advantage of also legitimately being an Indiana Jones film, yeah. Way better than Crystal Skull.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no doubt.
Mummy's so good.
I enjoy the Mummy.
I love Benny. It's like, the Weasley little sidekick always gets it in the end. Always. He's just so hopeful he'll be the Weasley because he knows he's the Weasley sidekick. Like he's not deluded about this.
That was the movie to save Brendan Fraser, but it just couldn't happen.
He limped along for a while after that. Like he was big after that. He squandered it with shit like Furry Vengeance.
Yeah.
I think he just likes doing kids movies. Like he was in a lot of kids.
Well, you know what those movies do? They pay a lot of fucking money.
Well, that's what it was. Is he was on like the Daily Show, and like I think this was when Furry Vengeance came out, and Jon Stewart's like, so this movie's terrible, right? Like, why are you doing terrible movies? He just goes, I have 4 kids. Like, they're expensive. Like, I would do Furry Vengeance for $1 million. Are you shitting me? And I guarantee he got more than $1 million for that.
Yep, probably. Anyway, Librarians is amazing.
I always think of him as he will always be the guy from Bedazzled.
Sure, the Bedazzled remake, which was not bad. I liked
that.
Bedazzled.
Yeah, it was a good movie, but that's just how I always look at him. It's like you can't put him in an action role
he's
anymore.
Encino Man for me.
Yeah, he's Encino Man for me as well. Yeah,
I think it shows my age a little bit, but he's Encino Man for me.
Definitely shows my age.
That's because of your age.
My brain is freezing on the name of it, but the one where he grows up in a bomb shelter and his dad is Christopher Walken.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Is it like Blast from the Past? Is that what it's called?
Blast from the Past, yeah.
That's the one that I remember him a lot from because they played the shit out of that movie on like Comedy Central a quarter of a century ago.
Yeah. Well,
Encino Man used to be on Saturday a lot.
I saw Encino Man like once or twice when it first came out, and I haven't seen it in 20 years.
Well, it's not on Saturdays anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be.
they've changed their schedule.
Sure. Like, nothing Pauly Shore. Like, you think occasionally they'd play, but like none of the Pauly Shore movies are randomly played like on TV.
And
Son-in-Law.
Thank God.
You know what you don't see anymore that you used to see every fucking Saturday is Red Dawn. The original Red Dawn. I feel like every Saturday of for a decade of my childhood, I could just turn on the TV, flip through the channels on a Saturday, and there's Red Dawn.
It's probably playing on WGN right now.
For me, it was Clint Eastwood
or
movies.
TBS.
There's always, at any point in time, a Clint Eastwood movie playing on cable.
I remember Comedy Central playing PCU an inordinate frequency.
Oh man,
but it might as well have been a TV show. Like every Tuesday they play PCU.
They could play that 24 hours and I love the shit out of
it. Can you blow me where the Pampers is?
That was like the movie that solidified George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic into my head. Just like I will never forget the name of that band ever again.
Yeah,
not Crazy Black Guy with America Dreads.
She's confused.
Sanskrit, it's the best I got. Yep. Take it or leave it.
You're too young.
Movie classic.
Actually, it was Undercover Brother.
Just watch Alf, you'll be fine.
Alf is legitimately good. Like,
if you like Zooey Deschanel, it's in control. Will Ferrell. It's a focused Will Ferrell with a great Zoe.
Is it a focused Will Ferrell?
No.
He's better.
Well, it's a different style of his.
He is not he's the center of the movie, but the other actors and characters are so amazing that he's just is there to link them together. Do you like legitimately, like in a sappy way, like Christmas movies? No, I mean that's a serious question. That wasn't like a trap or a joke. Like, do you enjoy like the spirit of Christmas? Oh, heart, warming.
The first 15 minutes might be hard to get through, but
yeah,
it starts off a little wonky.
I got the warmth in the heart, with the whole park sequence and the sleighs gotta fly and everything when I saw this movie in the theaters. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a very sappy, heartwarming moment. The first 15 minutes, like, the North Pole sequences, to me, are amazing as a film aficionado because it's all forced perspective. There's no CGI there. Mm-hmm. And that's amazing that they have, like, him 3 times as tall as Bob Newhart, who's riding on his back, like, piggyback style, and that's all legitimately shot live with cameras.
That is kind of cool.
Like, it's worth watching the first 15 minutes just to look at that and go, oh my god, it's impressive they did that with no CGI.
I know a lot of people these days are heralding Elf as one of, like, the top, if not, some people will say the top Christmas movie, but then they forget that A Christmas Story exists.
It's not the top, but it's legitimately in my top 5, I think.
I've seen, like, 5 minutes of A Christmas Story. And
Christmas Story is pretty stupid.
But it's iconically the Christmas movie.
It is a very iconic Christmas movie.
That doesn't make it a good Christmas movie.
It's amazing!
I think it's actually really good.
It's so dull.
The only movie that I really like is a Christmas movie. I like the Rudolph
it's because it's
one,
so played out.
But I like White Christmas with Bing Crosby.
Sure.
It's just like Elf. You'll like Elf then.
Yeah.
It is not anything like Elf. Although I do love White Christmas.
This has Peter Dinklage in it.
It does.
It does.
What do we
call me an elf one more time? You're an elf?
Can we do something during the week here? Can we get a couple folks to record a pain train this week?
Why, you just want to make her watch Elf?
No. No, like on Thursday or something like that. Like on Christmas
Eve?
Probably
I'll
not.
Be a little busy.
Yeah,
okay,
I can't this week.
But if we could, I want to do a pain train and release it on Christmas if we can.
Of Krampus?
No, of us watching Christmas Story 2.
No. I will eat a gun before I watch Christmas Story 2.
No. Have you seen the
trailer
for
literally,
it?
I will eat a gun.
I decided that the last, the way that Krampus ended is actually good. It's what makes that a scary movie. Other than that, it's not scary.
I'll agree with you that the way Krampus ended was 100% the way it should have ended.
I didn't see Krampus.
I didn't see it either, but I heard it's basically it has the same vein as like Gremlins.
It's worthwhile seeing. Like, I know a lot of people when they first heard of it, they're like, "Oh, it's just some gimmick to sell tickets for a shitty Christmas movie," but it's actually pretty legit. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that about campy, shitty Christmas movies all that often. I think it's pretty good. It's a good time. There's a lot of good comedy in there. There's some interesting, good horror and like a lot of good lore. I always like the background stories like that. It's pretty good. It's an amazing movie.
From the Red Letter Media reviews I've seen of it, because they did a review of it recently, which they also did. They watched all the other Krampus movies.
Oh, jeez.
Like Black Christmas, or not Black Christmas, what is it called?
No, movies about Krampus.
Just movies about Krampus.
Yeah, no, I know.
All the way leading up to that one.
God damn it, I'm blanking on it. I just saw like a Krampus movie on Netflix, like some shitty one, and it wasn't Black Christmas because that's the slasher movie, but it was something like that. But,
yeah,
I don't know. It definitely beats out probably the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Santa Claus vs. the Martians?
No, this one is...
Don't say Bad Santa, I will punch you in the head.
This is a killer gingerbread man versus Evil Bong.
It's it's Ginger Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man, yeah.
You know who is the Ginger Dead Man?
The name, when he was talking, it sounded familiar,
So
but I
Warwick
couldn't
Davis?
place it.
Gary Busey. Gary Busey plays Ginger Dead Man in all, I believe there's 5 Ginger Dead Man movies. Now, if you include the versus Evil Bong, which is the third Evil Bong one, because there's Evil Bong's Revenge, and then Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, the crossover everyone was waiting for.
Yeah. It's just like this garbage, terrible, like, Skinamax movie with, like, even Jack Frost was better than that piece
I'm
of
sold.
shit.
I'm sold. I
damn
want
it.
to see this.
I
movie.
got 20 minutes in and shut that fucking thing off.
In the first Ginger Dead Man, Gary Busey just does like the voice, and then I don't remember in the second, but at least in Evil Bong, they gave the Ginger Dead Man like his teeth,
Characteristics.
so it would look like Gary Busey.
Yeah, it's one ugly fucking gingerbread cookie.
Well, because that's Gary Busey's mouth, which is the most horrific thing on the planet, is Gary Busey's mouth.
It's like the real life nutcracker.
All right, based on our time, should we move into our shenanigans?
Well, are we going to do recommendations?
Do we have?
Well, yeah, recommendations.
Well, we
I
all
recommend Star Wars.
Recommend Nathan watches Star Wars.
We all
Yeah.
I recommend you.
I can go watch it now. If
So
you
do
talk
that.
about it for 2.5 hours, I'll be back.
Get out.
We'll just reenact the whole movie.
Yeah, we'll just tell you how it works. So
I
in the
will
opening
stay
scene,
for you acting. No, he just do somersaults and go beep 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 constantly.
He is the best character.
That
in
is,
the movie.
oh shit! I just spoiled your fetish on air. I apologize. I did not mean to do that.
Andy, you just went offline.
I know. I
Okay.
accidentally did.
Okay.
I was trying to get rid of Gary Busey, and it took off the stream.
1,000 voices just screamed out in pain. They were like, they're about to talk about something interesting. And
All
they
right.
turned it off.
I'm leaving.
I was-
I forget my red gummy bears. What?
I saved them so I
Gummy
get some.
bars?
No.
Oh man, this is fight time.
Katie, can I have some?
Yeah.
May I have some gummy bears as
I
well?
hand him over. Hold on.
No reds though.
I'm hoping him.
I'll trade somebody some Charleston shoes for some.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Nathan.
Bye, Nathan. Do you like
I've
Charleston
never
shoes?
had a Charleston.
Well, these are mini Charleston shoes, so it's a
Never
good
had
time
Charleston
to
shoe?
try them.
They're tasty.
They, whenever I have a Charleston shoe, it reminds me of summer as a kid because there was a at the public
guys
pool
so
they
much.
sold them. They sold them for 25 cents, like the big ones.
Yep.
So I always had a Charleston shoe whenever I went swimming at the public pool. It's pretty legit.
Are we
time.
coming back online? Do I have to do something to pick it back up again?
No, we're online.
I don't.
You got to refresh. It's just when you lose it, you usually
Okay, when
have
I
to-
lose it, I have to come back.
It was my bad.
No, but my screen is still black, so I was afraid I was doing something wrong.
So Nathan might be out of the building. I'm not sure here.
No, he
I
hasn't
still
left
hear
yet.
the door.
Yeah.
Right. We want to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, put up the little tag, the Star Wars spoiler tag.
So we are
Star-
definitely going into Star Wars
Yes.
spoilers.
So
Yeah.
those of you that are still here, Star Wars spoilers are about to happen.
I mean, we can pretend we wouldn't, but it's going to happen.
It is
So
gonna
let's
happen.
not even pretend that
Yeah.
we're not going to go crazy on Star Wars.
so who wants to go first?
Why'd you eat one of my gummy bears?
I didn't. I ate two. They were both red, so it's okay, right? They were red.
Star Wars stars with
They
the murder
were
of
red.
Jeremy Shea.
All right. So the first thing that I have to say, get off my chest.
So-
BB-8 is my new favorite droid in any movie ever. Name me a droid that is more awesome than BB-8. And I think R2 was probably right up there before, and BB-8 beat him out for me.
I kind of like the droid from Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. I
Okay, I
can't
haven't
the
seen
evil.
Well, the
cartoon.
assassin one.
No, the original Xbox one, like the evil droid who always wants to kill people. But
Just IG-88.
maybe I don't know what the fuck his
But
name
you're
is.
okay. But you're talking about
Yeah.
just for Star Wars,
Well,
not
no, I'm
other.
talking other, even other sci-fi movies. Like,
I-
I really like BB-8.
I really like the. I can't think of the robot's name. It's from Borderlands. It's the one that believes that it's a human.
Claptrap?
No, it's
The one from the Tales of Borderland. There's
No,
actually
not
one
from
Tales
Tales
of
of-
Borderland that might be. It's
not from Tales,
We're
but it's
spoiling hard to shush toward.
no. It's not from Tales. It's during one of the missions. It's
Okay.
right before. It's one of the missions where you go and talk to him, and he just wants to become a human,
Okay.
and so he's asking you to go get skins, I believe, so he can wear them.
I vaguely remember that.
I do like that robot a lot.
All right,
but BB-8 is awesome.
The cool thing about Star Wars, first of all, I think we all enjoyed it, right? Everyone here
Yes.
enjoyed the movie.
from beginning to end.
Yeah.
It really, and when I was sitting down and I was watching it, my brain was like, please don't be as bad as a prequel. Like,
Oh my God.
It's a constant thing. But from the beginning, like the performances, like the actors were allowed to
Acted.
act. They
Yeah.
They were allowed to like be people.
Yeah.
And the scrawl wasn't this obscure. It wasn't like we had to like get a figure out how to trade agreement. It was just like simple. Luke Skywalker is missing.
Luke Skywalker's missing. The world's going to shit.
There's a new first order of bad guys.
Yes,
and they're out to find everyone wants to find Luke because
What I liked is it went slowly enough that I could actually read it because I read really slowly.
It was, and fortunately, but unfortunately enough, when I got to the theater, I arrived a half hour early today. And I still had to take second row seating, but it was second row seating in the middle.
Well, that's not terrible. Though.
Yeah, 3D IMAX at the second row seating in the middle is actually pretty legit. Like, it was an experience for sure.
The world is there. I saw one of the Lord of the Rings movies from that row, and it's like, whoa.
I know, I felt like it was the first time in my entire life that I felt like I could actually touch the 3D things that were coming at me.
I was very giddy through most of the movie, too. What's interesting, I guess I'll go. I do have a couple complaints, which I guess I'll save till later. But just to start, the main the actress. There's Ren. Ray was a guy.
Daisy something.
No, Ray was the girl.
Ray's the girl, and the guy is
Kylo Ren.
Kylo.
No. Finn. I'm terrible.
You're terrible.
You're terrible at naming character names.
I thought he was trying to come up with the other character.
Finn and Ray. Those two are excellent, and they are the focus of the movies for the most part. And those two, they both pulled it off in such amazing ways, as far as being engaging and interesting and completely different and.
They felt like they actually had personality as compared to the prequels with, there's like a couple characters that feel like they have a personality.
The two of them are definitely the focus, but it's not just the two of them. I thought Poe was a really solid character. Yeah. Obviously, we already mentioned BB-88. Like there were several, there were more than just two.
When BB-88? BB-8, sorry. That's the BB-8 that's actually a bounty hunter.
They went to the old characters at the right times. They weren't really overused. When I saw Indiana Jones' Crystal Skull, I saw an old man that was dressed like Indiana Jones and kind of acted but didn't really seem that energized. Harrison Ford was really energized to me as Han Solo.
Good job
he really was. I mean, he really was all in the role. I mean, he wasn't just. He really felt like he was enjoying
the big. I liked him, and I'm going to be in the minority here.
You are.
I liked him in the Crystal Skull.
There was too many scenes where I just felt he was like.
I think the problem.
Script, though. I mean, he probably knew that it wasn't.
He might have just known it was a garbage script.
That's probably what it really truly was. I mean, even Mutt wasn't really that bad in the film. It was more of what they made him do, like with the stupid rope swinging and such.
Yeah, I think with Star Wars and Harrison Ford, he not only did he sell the role really well, he sold Han Solo as an old wizened man. That was the big part. There was still that part of Han Solo that was there, but he had that weird I'm too good for you charisma. But he definitely had those years of fucking people over enough to where
it's been 30 years of shit for him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, 30 years of never ever even remotely testing out firing Chewbacca's boltcaster.
When he saw the boltcaster, he's like, Jesus Christ. I was like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah, but if it was 30 years, he's never even went I want to try to fire that ever.
Getting the two main characters together on Jakku was pretty interesting. When they're running for the ships as they're being attacked, they're like, oh, ignore that hunk of junk.
That one is garbage.
And then they turn to the hunk of junk in the Falcon.
And I was like, oh my god!
Well, the crowd just starts. It's such a classic, simple.
Yeah.
People, I've read a couple complaints that the game had too much nostalgia, but too much fan service.
I think the fan service was perfect.
In a lot of the fan service, it was just
it was as a plot device.
Yeah, it was a plot device, and it was Star Wars being Star Wars. It wasn't I use Pirates of the Caribbean as an example. In Pirates of the Caribbean 2, they bring back every secondary character. The two goofy guys are brought back. They reference everything specifically, but in Star Wars, there's callbacks and there's some fan service, but everything it was referenced to maybe we didn't need a bigger Death Star, which wasn't really a Death Star. I mean, but it was Death Star-ish. It didn't.
Death Star-ish.
But it didn't need to be a ball. I mean, it was different, but it didn't need to be that.
I mean, I know they don't want to recreate anything from the extended universe, but they couldn't have gone a Sun Crusher route, changed it up.
Yeah, the Sun Crusher and that was in my mind too. I'm like, okay, I can't help but judge us against the Thrawn series because the Thrawn series is amazing and it's all good. And although the Sun Crusher doesn't come into the next series anyway, but the Sun Crusher is a small ship that destroys suns, which is effectively because in this movie the thing sucks power out of the sun and destroys every planet in the system.
Yeah.
which is the same thing as blowing up the
you
sun,
might as well
destroying
blow
the
up the sun,
entire.
destroy the
So
system.
same, half dozen, blah 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 thing, but which is kind of a cool thing. Drain the sun and then blow every planet up. Although you think if you drain the sun, you pretty much kill every planet anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's
the
sort of
s-
overkill.
No,
Doesn't
it
the
uses
sun
it to
recharge though.
The sun, it drains the sun in its system to fire into another system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The only
Yeah.
thing there
recharges.
is like I just feel like you'd run into something along the way.
A beam that big that would run right through it, though. I mean, if it's hitting
Yeah.
planets, if you're like, like, oh my god, I'm sure some poor ship was going, what the fuck is that coming at us?
Because it probably charges to the point where it needs to travel enough and then has enough to detonate whatever it hits. Like, it doesn't have enough to go through it
You run
completely.
into physics and coherency issues, but it's
Yeah.
Star Wars, so I don't care.
Exactly. I
Exactly.
think-
There's a lot. All my complaints are minor. Like they obviously blew up a system, but because I felt like that if I would have read that, I would have understood which system was being blown up.
Right.
Because they call they call them the Resistance, like Leia and those guys, and really they're not rebels because they're
They're
still
working with the Republic.
the
Right.
Republic still exists. I mean they won and
Yeah.
six.
Well, I don't know if the Republic exists anymore.
They made some references
Well,
there.
It doesn't exist after this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it existed at the start of the movie.
I don't know if they blew up all the Republic planets.
They
though.
did. They blew up the capital planet. So even pre-expanded extended universe, there's the capital,
Yeah.
which is where the Emperor ruled from in the terrible prequels, and it's where he was ruling from theoretically in 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And it's one of the planets that cheers when they destroy the Death
Yeah.
Star. The dancing scene at the end of 6. Like it's the headquarters of the universe, and that was one of the planets that
It's
showed being
Coruscant.
blown up.
Coruscant.
Yeah, Coruscant.
I wasn't.
And that was
I
one of the
wasn't
planets that
100%.
showed blowing
It
up.
seemed like that's what blew up, but I wasn't 100%.
No, that was Coruscant and its surrounding moons.
Yeah, because the New Republic existed, so they had because in the beginning when people were like, well, why are they calling the Resistance? Because they won the war. It was just they were the Force working with them. It seemed like it didn't seem like it was greatly explained.
It was not. I mean, they kind of just did brush over it because if they were just playing destroyed anyway, there's not much point in doing a ton of character development on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Because by the way, they're all dead and everyone they know is dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is where there was. Again, I'm reaching into the expanded universe a little bit here, and like some of the wiki articles and stuff about Star Wars, but a big deal gets made about the fact that no matter who's in charge, that you need Coruscant because trying to manage any kind of government that spawns galaxies is just nightmarishly difficult, and Coruscant's been doing it for years and has the records and has the communication line set up, and it would just be a pain in the ass if Coruscant was gone.
Yeah.
It kind of turns the whole galaxy Wild West for Coruscant to be gone. Everybody's kind of on their own in a big way. Which is interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they do much with that in the future movies, but it's an interesting idea.
Before we exit the fan service part of it, I think there was one part of that movie that could have made it like a solid 10 out of 10 for me, and it's really just like a 9.80 because of this.
Okay.
I wish they would have not used Luke's training droid the way they used the owl from Clash of the Titans when they remade it.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, I pick it up and it's a hunk of garbage and
Yeah,
throw it away.
throw it
That's
away.
the only bit. I wish they would have traded that and made Matt Parkman from Heroes Porkin's son. It should have happened like that. Like he's gonna restore his. He's gonna
That would have been kind of amazing.
because you never hear about the pilots' lives.
you
It's
don't.
like it's just some douchebag named Porkins who's fat who dies, and then his fat son comes back to save the day and say, "I made it, Dad.
Yeah.
We survived."
That would be kind of amazing.
It would have been great. All
It
they
would-
needed to do was just put Porkins on his shirt,
Yep.
and that'd be done. I'd be perfectly.
You would have been
perfectly
great
happy.
though too, is if you would have died in the exact same way. They made it shot for shot of him dying the same way. I love the shot, the fan service things that people have made with shots of Porkins, like McDonald's cups and everything
Yeah.
in his TIE fighter, or not his
The
X-Wing.
lightsaber battling was so good. They did the
Oh, yeah.
lightsaber is a viciousness and even when he uses the force hold, it's just the brutality of it just seems more
Well, it was
visceral.
Well, I have a question, and this is because I don't understand Star Wars as well as you guys do. I thought only Jedi could use lightsabers.
Anyone can turn on. It's just a device. Only Jedi can use the Force to do things like block laser bolts and anticipate their foes' reactions and things like that.
Yeah, it's like
So
it's a
kinda like you
prowess
just-
thing.
It's kind of like you just pick up a sword. Anybody can pick up a sword, but if you're not a fencing master, me picking up a sword and a fencing master picking up a sword are two completely different classes of things.
I mentioned it to you guys. Brian, who's out there, did you see Daniel Craig in the movie? Because Daniel Craig has a cameo in this movie.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Daniel Craig. Daniel
you
Craig.
didn't mention anything.
When Rey is being interrogated,
Uh-huh.
and she tried because the big switcheroo obviously is Rey's the one who was a Force. Even though in the trailers you
You
know
all
it's,
think it's the black guy.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
I think
actually
it's
Rey.
Finn.
It's actually
You all think it's Finn. she's being interrogated. She starts realizing she can use the Force, and she tries to use the mind control on the stormtrooper. That stormtrooper is Daniel Craig.
Yep.
Which stormtrooper?
The stormtrooper she
standing in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you'll unhook me and leave the door open.
I did not know that was Daniel Craig. That's amazing.
Yeah, I saw the trivia afterwards. Yeah,
that's funny.
No, every part of that movie. Like, I have never been entertained so much in my entire life watching the movie, and I also feel like I'm really benefited because I missed all the spoilers. The only thing that I saw that was a minor spoiler was the movie poster with her with the lightsaber, because I also lived in a world where only Jedi could use lightsaber. But I also live in a world, and probably will continue for quite some time living in a world, where I have never seen episode 1, 2, or 3. So I feel like I'm very benefited by that.
One is worth seeing, at least.
The only thing
out of the 3,
I have a complaint about is that it's not that I didn't enjoy the movie in any way. It's just that it was the same movie as the other 3.
Katie commented right after the movie ended that she felt like there was a lot of similarity in plot between this movie and 4.
Exactly, because
she's not wrong.
It's just repetitive. I mean, Kylo Ren is Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker is Obi-Wan, and then Rey is Luke Skywalker. Like, it's just the cyclical nature of things. And I think they do that a lot with the family ties and everything, which is why they missed the fucking boat on Porkins.
Having and obviously, spoiler-wise, obviously the big thing in this movie is Han Solo gets killed, and he gets killed by his son, who is of course the Dark Jedi.
But he's just being a shitty Dark Jedi.
He's torn. I have so much to say about Kylo Ren.
So talk about Kylo Ren.
Oh man, Kylo Ren is man baby incarnate. There's just nothing about him that doesn't say man baby. They picked a guy who he is definitely older because Han Solo is 60.
Yeah.
And
okay, well let's talk about that first, because he doesn't look anything like Leia or Han.
Exactly, because
Leia just went and made it with a Latino person, and then was like, Han, this is your kid.
He looked more like Grecian to me, but
the point is an olive tone, and both of them are super white.
Yeah. I think
that's his reaction to the mask he wears all the time.
Maybe, yes.
No, he would be whiter. I've seen Darth Vader without his mask on, and he was like an alabaster baby.
So maybe he has a reaction to the leather.
If anything, that means he has a lighter skin tone now that he's worn the mask, which means he was even darker before.
Well, it's hard. He obviously doesn't wear it all the time. I think he's only worn it for a few years.
He only wears it as an imposing thing, and the Darth Vader fin on the back too. He's just emulating a mythological person that he believes exists.
That he never met.
Because that's the thing. Darth Vader in the end was a good guy.
Was a good guy at the end.
And he's just I'll never be good as Darth Vader. That was his thought. The biggest man baby part of that whole movie. I understand it's cool to destroy a console when you get mad because you don't get something you want because you're a giant man baby.
Sure.
That's a little forgivable. But then when he starts having the Force battle in her head, and he's like, oh, I can take whatever I want because I'm Violet Beauregard. And then and she starts fighting back and finds out his stuff. Not only does he get pissy and oh, you found out my secret, I'll never be as good as my grandfather, but he basically, the only thing missing from that scene that he did but didn't do was the whole and run away. And then he just goes and smashes more
you
stuff.
haven't seen the prequels, so the Anakin was such a bad transition to the bad side, where this guy, I feel, dark side, he was what Anakin should have been in the prequels as far, because he still hasn't completed his training. He's still an apprentice, so he's still... Well,
I know. It's just that he has no confidence whatsoever to do anything, and Darth Vader was just such an imposing figure.
Well, because he's playing Darkseid is really what it is. When he sits there and is sitting there with his light flamberge and is trying to kill Han Solo, you see him all tear up, and he's like, I need your strength, and Han Solo's like, yeah, I'll take this from you, and he's like, no, I just needed your strength to kill you because you're my dad and I love you, but I can't love you, and I don't have the strength to be that badass.
Yeah, I can.
I feel like he's just he is I don't think that he has any light in him. I think he's just a petty little shithead. Because whereas Darth Vader was I'm big and imposing and I'm gonna fucking do this because this is what I want to do and I'm powerful enough to do it. This guy just always reacts in the most petty, childlike way.
Exactly, because he smashes things. He'll he won't force choke someone to death.
Obviously, the stormtroopers are afraid to be around him, not because he's scary and can kill you, but because he's a whiny
well,
little
that's
bitch.
the thing when he
Just
starts like
hurt you.
when Rey breaks out of the thing because she uses the Force. Like those two stormtroopers come and they didn't leave because they were scared that Kylo Ren would like somehow in his massive man baby fit destroy them with his 3-pronged lightsaber.
No.
They just like shook their head and looked at each other like, oh, Kylo Ren's pissed again. We better give him a timeout and just fucking leave. Like, he's a giant man baby.
I don't think that he is. He just acts like a spoiled child. He doesn't.
Because it's not that his parents left him with some random stranger. Yeah. His parents left him with the Jedi Master at the time, who's also his uncle, and is going to become like this amazing, powerful force in the entire universe. But that just was not good enough for him. It's like, Mom and Dad left me here with stupid, stinky Uncle Luke.
Well, and probably all Luke did was try to enforce rules, and then he was like, no, I don't like rules.
Well, to be fair, he grew up with a dad who is very anti-rules. Mm-hmm. And a mother who is both a princess and the leader of the active government.
We also don't know. Now, Grand Commander Snook? First of all, Snook is a terrible name for a villain.
It is bad. All I think of is like
Snook is not a good name.
That's the general guy,
it's a spray tan.
That's the Emperor. That's the guy in the chair.
Oh, the guy. In
Which, by there's rumors that he's actually the guy who used to, because the Emperor actually had a train. I forget Darth, whatever the Emperor's trainer is, the Emperor's master was.
Oh, I forget Darth. Yeah,
there's rumors that he might be him.
Sidious?
No. Someone else. But anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know what I was saying, but no, he obviously influenced Ben.
Yeah,
Solo, but we don't know the interactions. Like, there's a lot of things we don't know. We don't know who dropped off Rey on the planet. We don't know a lot of these little things.
Oh yeah, they say it's Snoke, not
Snoke.
Not Snook.
Well,
I was thinking
whatever.
It's
Snooker. It's Snooker.
Yeah, but I'm still intrigued to see where that's going to go. There's a lot of things we don't know that they get to fill into the next movies. Obviously, the movie ends with just seeing Luke doesn't say a damn word. You see him for 5 seconds. It's hilarious.
Okay, wait. For the listeners, I think I told all of you this because it makes me question all of my decisions in life. I'm sitting in the theater with Katie, the love of my life, the light of my world, and they show that final scene, right? So Luke turns around and it cuts to the credits, and she's like, "What did you say, darling?"
I said, "Was that Luke
Skywalker?"
No. Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
No,
I didn't say or. I just said, was that Luke Skywalker? And you said, yes. Who did you think it was? And I said, well, it might have been Ewan McGregor.
And then I said, Katie, who was Ewan McGregor?
But I didn't remember him ever losing an arm, and so that really confused me. And then it looked a little bit like Mark Hamill, too, and so I thought maybe it was Luke Skywalker. But in my defense, it didn't make sense to me that if, like, everybody's been looking for Luke and they finally find him, they're like, oh, this one random girl who we just met, even though she did play an integral role, you just go by yourself to go get him. That's fine. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Because she has a
lightsaber.
She had Force. I mean, they realize that she has Force abilities, and you just send
Jedi to Jedi. Well, I know, but it seems like Leia would go too. Like
Leia said
Leia's busy.
No, if my brother had been missing for like 20, 30 years,
he's been missing less time than that because he established the Jedi training order. Then that all blew up in his face, and then he took off.
I got the feeling he
hasn't been in hiding. I mean, he's just basically been hiding from everyone else. He's basically not. He's not missing like the First Order took care of him in a sense.
No, I know, but my point is, like, if I hadn't seen a family member that I had been looking for years, and I found out where they lived, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, Brian, you go see him."
Hey, if I had Force abilities, you would say that.
I would not. I would be on the. I would be on the plane.
Yeah, something interesting. So Leia and Luke in the movies. If we just throw out the extended universe, it's clear that her, whether through training or aptitude, her force powers are not as sensitive as Luke. She definitely has them. At the third movie, like, they mention it a little bit.
They can feel each other.
Yeah, and they feel each other and stuff like that, but, like, not really force powers.
Brothers and sisters shouldn't feel each other.
But it's interesting that in this movie, they made zero attempt to even pretend that she had any force powers, other than the ability to sense when her husband died.
Yeah.
It was the only time she did anything force sensitive, which I thought was an interesting trait, because if Luke was training the Jedis, and that was an active thing he was trying to do, it seems like at least making an effort, and this is something that they made a point of in the books, they're like, well, I took me at least make an effort to train one of the most publicly visible Jedi in the universe. Like, you should at least try to do that with Leia, because everyone knows she's your sister, therefore a Jedi. And apparently in the movie universe, that was just like, nope, no training, you don't need to be a Jedi at all.
Well, she might not have wanted to.
She might not have, but it's interesting they didn't address that at all. That was something it didn't bother me per se. It's just a different take from the books, and that's fine. It was interesting to me.
Is it really possible too that they never really made that publicly known that Leia is Luke's brother?
It's possible,
or sister.
Sister, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's the other thing though too is like if Ben had actually known what Vader had done in his last hours, he probably wouldn't have been worshiping him as much as he has.
Not the way he worships him.
Correct.
He might still worship as a good guy.
Well, but he probably did know, because I'm sure that Luke told him that. But my guess would be that the guy who won him over to the dark side, Snooky, would
Sookie Stackhouse
would told him that was all a lie, and this is how much power Darth Vader had, and he only said that because
he's afraid of the dark side.
Yeah, and they lied to him about what happened.
That does seem like an obvious approach to lie to a young impressionable child about. Your grandfather was actually killed by your uncle because your uncle's a terrible person and doesn't understand power and
or was jealous of his power or something.
Power. Yeah, it seems like an obvious.
Again, though, I think this is a terrible Vader replacement. He's just the worst. We need somebody who's got a little bit of self-confidence about anything.
Well, the thing is that we're looking at Vader, in a sense, Vader at the end of 3.
Yeah.
We were basically looking at him being basically the whiny bitch in there. We never actually got to see Vader mature in a sense. We got to see Vader get up to his preteens.
Yeah,
I think once he killed his dad, that was his big step to become more.
Yes,
I don't think that's true. I think he'll just feel guilt about it.
No,
because we talked about this in the car. Because I was like, why did he keep hitting himself when he was fighting with Rey?
Because he's a giant man baby.
Because he's a giant man baby who can't actually do anything on the dark side, and Jeremy was like, part of the force of the dark side is pain, and so he had to keep reminding himself that he was in pain.
He wasn't reminding himself; he was amping up the pain to give himself more power. Was my perspective.
That's more of like a classic berserker type Viking thing.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense to me. I mean, he was.
See, and if killing his dad had actually given him the ability to be like, nope, I'm totally dark side, I don't think that he would have needed to do that.
No, I think killing his father was more of like a severing, like not so much severing ties, but kind of like giving him the mental power to move forward type of thing. It's more of like a catalyst to being a badass.
I think that's what he would hope it would be, but I don't think that's what it would ultimately
Between
be.
his fight with Finn and his fight with Rey and getting shot by Chewbacca, he's also fairly fucked up by the end of this movie. It'll be interesting to see what they do as far as, is he going to recuperate? Is he going to get more like Vader suited up? There are some things that could happen there.
And they really prepared the audience for his death, because they put him in, they kind of dragged it out just a little bit, but I think because my audience was just dead fucking silent that entire time, because everyone knew as soon as Han walked out the bridge in front of him and called him bad, that he was going to die there. I think every single person realized Han Solo was about to die in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and I think they did that on purpose so people wouldn't have heart attacks. You could have just you couldn't wash him and suddenly kill Han Solo. You had to give him a few moments to. People had to be able to digest it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they had already said earlier in the movie, you have to kill your dad. So, who's talking?
Nate just said, "I shouldn't watch this." Right? That defeats the purpose.
It does.
So it was. I'm saddened that So we have a stormtrooper leader, which is pretty cool. She gets to wear silver armor and has no value whatsoever in the movie.
Best throwback ever.
What?
The trash compactor realization.
But the stormtrooper herself had 0 point.
And it's brilliant. She's a cool actress, and she had some good dialogue. I just feel they show you this cool character. Obviously, she's a leader. She is a general. Or they did a good job of having there's the different characters in charge of different aspects of the First Order. So obviously, we had these people carry on. Yeah. But she could have done something. She was in 0 fights. Didn't do anything other than get ransacked once.
I also kind of wanted to know what makes a stormtrooper special, since they're all programmed to be the same person.
Well, these are different. These are different stormtroopers.
No, I mean they're trained and programmed from children to be the same, to function on the same wavelength.
Correct.
So, what makes... Is it just physical prowess, or what that makes them stand out?
Probably just whoever babies they can get.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
No, I'm just saying, what makes them the commander?
Well, even if you have... If you try and make everyone uniform, you're going to have people who just stand out, and I think that's how you get it.
Yeah, I guess, from a baby, you would... I guess convention would think that they would all end up functioning on the same level, except for the real man baby who becomes a hero, Finn. Like that's what I think Kylo Ren should have been, is somebody who starts out man babyish, like, oh, I haven't been in the big leagues, and then starts to be like, oh yeah, but now I'm completely really badass.
More babyish the entire time. Yeah. But I think because that's more of a nature versus nurture debate, right? Because if you assume that nothing is nature and it's all nurture, then yeah, there would be no stands out. But if you assume that people are naturally gifted at different things, then you have people who are better shooters or better at commanding other people or inspiring people or whatever.
Yeah, I guess I am really siding with the nurture side of the conversation instead of natural.
I love it. In the beginning when they get in the Falcon, when Rey's flying it, and of course, you know, and Finn. I know. As soon as I said it, it's still Finn. When he's shooting the old-fashioned gun or whatever, and just the fact that because they're flying so close to the ground, and it was filmed so well, and when they're flying through the Star Destroyer.
It was a solid movie. Every aspect. I have some foibles that I would have preferred been differently, and I'll save those. But every aspect of it was solid. The introduction of Rey was solid. The introduction and who she was and a little bit about her. Like, we don't know a lot about her backstory.
Which is cool because we get to learn that in the next movie.
Exactly.
We don't even know who dropped her off.
Yeah, she's just a sold kid,
almost
really.
Positive it's Luke.
I pretty much.
There's like an 85% chance Luke's her father.
That's mine too. Yeah.
But you don't know that that's who dropped her off. Like, it could have been somebody working with Luke. It could, you know what I mean? Because she thought she was waiting for her parents.
She thought she was waiting for her parents.
I would love if her dad was not Luke, just because it'd be nice to have someone with Force abilities outside of the family.
Well, I mean,
it won't ruin it for me. But I mean,
I think there are going to be more people.
I think she has to be related to Luke in some way because of the whole him and his father both carry this lightsaber, and now she gets an emotional reaction when she touches it. Like, I think she may not be his daughter, but I think she has to be related.
Yeah, it seems very likely.
Because originally, I was like, well, it's probably Han's other daughter, but I'm pretty sure Leia would remember being pregnant.
Probably,
yeah.
So
you would think.
Unless it's like with somebody else.
It is interesting that she had such a repartee with Han. If she's not in any way blood related to Han,
she had so much fun dialogue with BB-8 and Chewbacca.
It was fantastic. And her interactions with Finn are really solid. Like, I mean, that was one of the biggest problems I had with the first three movies. Is the actors that play Anakin and Amidala are both in other movies able to act. I've seen them able to act and put in a good performance.
I don't think I've seen Hayden Christensen
be able to act.
Have you ever seen the movie Life is a House?
No.
If you want to just slit your wrist depressed but over a really good movie sometime, watch Life is a House. It's really good. And Hayden Christensen, he does the whole arc we're talking about. He actually starts out as kind of a man baby and then grows and matures into a better person. And he does a really good job with that arc. He has a romantic interest, and that arc is handled really well. Like, he can act. Maybe not in everything he does, but he can act. And neither of them does anything. There's no chemistry. They act like shit. Like, it's just terrible. I mean, even just from the first moment that Finn and Rey meet each other, it's not like, oh man, they want to bone each other right now. They just have like a good chemistry, like a friendship chemistry.
Well, even like Finn and Poe when he's trying to escape, and Finn's like, I'm rescuing you. Wait, you need a pilot. I need a pilot.
I need a pilot.
Yeah.
I need a pilot.
Well, and after a while, I think like the connection gets a lot more solidified because I think that's the first person who's cared for her, really.
Yeah.
So I think she doesn't have friends. She doesn't know family.
No.
So I think that's where a lot of this friendship gets forged into maybe a relationship too.
And I mean, they do a solid job of it. Her relationship with Han makes sense in the context of what we know about her and what we know about him. Because he has this lost son that he hasn't connected with. He's got this hole in his heart for a kid her age.
Yeah.
And that's where if she is Luke's, won't they be cousins?
Yes.
See, that's
which is interesting. It was an interesting problem for Luke and Leia, too, as I recall.
Well, that was more of a direct problem. But, I mean, cousins in space, they're space cousins. It's okay.
They're kissing cousins.
Yeah, it's okay.
The other thing...
Wait, no, they were brother-sister.
No, I'm saying if Finn and Rey are related.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think that they are.
Hey, I just realized this. You know who Finn's father could be?
Who?
Lando.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Ooh,
he could be from anywhere.
That could possibly be like Lando's kid was.
You're gonna find out Finn is actually someone else's. That
would be kind of hilarious.
Porkin's kid.
Yeah.
But anyway,
only hope.
The other thing about Ben is that he it was not attractive to look at either.
He was not. I'm much happier when his mask is on.
Well, obviously, as soon as Katie, because Katie, I'm always glad when Katie calls us out because you think sometimes sometimes I say, well, it doesn't always matter how much they make or what they look like, but Katie always reaffirms that that's all false.
It matters.
Yeah.
It
only matters about the money and the looks, and that's all that matters.
Power. Money, looks, and power, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't forget about power.
Amanda also had
usually if you have power, you have money.
Yeah,
that's true, but not always.
Amanda also had the same sentiment of not attractive, and I was like, well, he's kind of like maybe Edward Cullen attractive because like he had the shovel face thing going on, and Kylo Ren's kind of got this like lumpy, looks like somebody sculpted him into a side of a mountain while they were drunk.
No. No.
He looks like George fucking Washington. Like really, he does.
He looks.
He's a Greek
awful.
George Washington.
I don't know.
He's just a hot mess.
He's not hot.
No. I think some of the... Speaking of looks and all that jazz, I think one of the great things about this movie is the different gender and racial roles that are played in the movie. Like, having an African-American hero in Star Wars is really big and important. And having a Jedi that young women can look up to or little girls can look up to is super huge.
It's
like
a big deal.
it's just amazing how much that's kind of woven into there on accident or on purpose. I don't know.
And it doesn't feel forced.
It doesn't. No,
not to be punny, but I mean, it really doesn't feel forced. It feels like that these are just more characters.
Yeah,
added
just
into
people.
this universe.
Yeah,
which is good.
Mm-hmm. Like I can't. No.
I like the returning actors. I had no idea that Admiral Akbar is played by the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Nien Niob, the co-pilot of the.
I saw him.
I mean, that's the same guy too.
Wasn't the only one not played by the original that was a throwback was R2-D2?
No, Kenny Baker was in it.
Okay, I thought it was. I thought
he's listed in the credits in too, but I think they may have had two of them.
I know that Chewbacca had a double because I think he's too old and too frail
to. His voice, though.
Peter Mayhew has troubles walking. Yes,
because he's just fucking tall.
So, two things that I was really glad didn't happen in the movie was one when Leia and Han were talking about right before he left. He didn't say "I know." He just gave her a hug, and I was really scared that he was going to say "I know."
No, it would have been great.
So
would have been great the other way if
she had said
if he had said I love you and then she goes I know.
Actually,
I think that would have been a kind of super cheesy, but at the same time, I think it would have given me shivers.
It was really, really nice.
I'm gonna disagree. The one of my small foibles in this movie is that at no point does Leia or Han refer to anything scruffy looking. I just wanted one time, just once, you're looking scruffier than normal, or something like, come on. Like, I know it's fan service, I get that, it's fine, I'm okay with that.
The bar was exactly the scene for scene, the bar was scene for scene, like the cantina.
It was amazing.
That was the biggest fan, that was the most obvious fan service that had no value, was the scene for scene.
But it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was really glad that they didn't do was when Rey was talking to Finn while he was unconscious, she kissed him on the forehead and not on the lips because that would have been rape.
If they would have been playing baby, they would have
been cold outside.
Then she could have kissed him wherever she wanted.
Poor Green. Green has sent us like 50 million Zappity Rumbles, but we're not answering them this week, sadly. We will do them next week. We'll save them for next week.
No.
I think
you have to resubmit them next week.
One of the big things in the movie that I really enjoyed that I think might be passed over a little bit was not once in the entire time I've been watching movies have I ever been so excited by air combat scenes.
Yeah.
Not one time. It was so great. There was so much this is really dangerous or this is really risky stuff that we're doing. Like even the X-Wing pilots when they were assaulting the aspirator, whatever the fuck it was.
All the fights were in planets. There wasn't actually fights in outer space. They're always over. They were always on the planets.
No,
when Poe and Finn escape.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
There's a little bit that one. But
there's a little bit that.
The first one. I mean, but everything else. Is on the planet. Is in the sky and a planet. Which is interesting. Other than the first one, you're right. Everything is.
That opening shot of coming to the rescue when you see the mist over the ocean as all the X-Wings come flying in.
That was
awesome. Really cool. I wish I didn't see the trailer for the film. That would have known exactly what that was.
I didn't know what it was. I was like, Are they land speeders? Are they? And then they cut to X-wings, and I was like, oh my god, they're X-wings.
No, it's pretty prominent in the trailers.
Yeah, but I was careful not to watch the trailers.
The third thing that I was really excited about, because I just thought about it, was when she was running through the woods. I was scared to death she was going to run into an Ewok. I was like,
I thought you were going to say a tick was going to fall. No ticks, no ticks, no ticks.
That's one of like the side effects of the new Star Wars movie is that we're getting new wonderful memes like the Ewok Care Bear meth. it's like I used to be a Care Bear or something, and then it shows a picture of an Ewok, but meth something. I don't know. I've messed it up, but
I'll Google it.
Yeah, you should.
Anybody else kind of feels sad for BB-8 because like his first master basically said, "I'm gonna go back, but you go that way that far."
Yeah.
And then when he meets up with Rey basically does the same thing. It's like you go that way, I'll go back. So both times, like technically his master has died each time. Well, I feel bad.
I really got emotions off because when he's talking between Finn and Rey in the back and forth dialogue, because Finn's pretending to be a part of the resistance, and he's like begging BBX to be on his side. And the way BBX is looking at him, and even the thumbs up with the lighter was hilarious.
That was the first like unison laugh in the theater. Like there was also another cool experience being with like the people who like clap and like laugh a lot and everything. It was really great. But like the thumbs up with the lighter, that was like the most comedic part of the movie.
In the it was funny, but it wasn't like Jar Jar dumb funny. It was like funny. It was just enough. BB-X was so good. Like,
BB-8.
No, I like X.
So.
BBR.
I just lost it.
BB, yeah.
He's not a DVR.
No, he's not a DVR.
But BB-8.
I still like. Speaking of memes. I cannot believe how many people are so trapped in dark ages these days, because like a line formed for the people who had their tickets that were trying to go and give their tickets to people. One guy came in and started bitching because he didn't know what the point was of buying tickets before the showing if you had to wait in line to give them the tickets. Another like 10 people all had printed out or on their phone QR codes and had no clue what the fuck to do with them. And then another person behind me was talking about really funny memes, and I was just like, my brain has melted now. And then behind her was another good interaction of like some crazy like mega Star Wars nerd who started talking to random people, and she just said, "I don't know you." And I was like, okay, well, you've redeemed yourself a little bit, because he started talking about how George Lucas was a hack because he took all his favorite westerns and crammed them into one movie. And then I was just like, go hang yourself
One
now.
of my poor friends who was at the party last night, Logan, it started at 2 a.m. and went till like 10. They showed all 6 of the prior movies and then finally number 7. And he said that a bunch of people came to that in costume, but some of them didn't think it all the way through. So there was a gal who came in like in blue face paint with the long like the Leku.
Twi'leks.
Yeah, Twi'lek. And he said by like the second movie, like she was just a wreck, just like face paint all melted down onto her shirt, like just terrible. He was like, she did not think through that she was going to be in that theater for like a day.
I heard from the conversations for there too is like talking about like pretty much through Attack of the Clones, everybody was asleep.
Yeah, he said he wished he had not. He actually wished he had not shown up until the first 3 were done, because he could have just shown up like 6 hours later and started with 4, and he said it would have been perfect.
Yeah, starting with 4 seems the best way to go about it. I mean, I haven't seen 1, 2, and 3 really. I know I've heard enough about them.
I love the Duel of the Fates fight scene.
There are a few scenes in the first 3 that I enjoy. There are just things that I actively, truly hate. And there are things that I like, but I feel guilty about liking. Like, I enjoy the Yoda fight with Dooku, but it also bothers me because that's not how Yoda should move around at all. I don't care that he's a Jedi Master. Like, it bothers me when every time I think about it. And then I see the fight scene, I'm like, that's amazing. And then I'm like, damn it, no, it's not.
He uses the Force to move his whittled bones.
Yeah, to move all over the place as a 900-year-old tiny thing.
I really liked how they handled the lightsaber fights in here.
Yes.
That they felt more down to earth. They weren't like, just Shaolin monks running around with swords. I mean, it just felt like it was
trained, which is nice.
Exactly.
They made a point of that.
They looked like they were both kind of inept until that one lady was like, "I'm like the Rain Man of lightsabers and the Rain Man of Millennium Falcon," or whatever the fuck those things are called. I know the name of the ship's Millennium Falcon, but there's
YT-1800.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
It's a piece of junk.
It's a piece of shit,
Piece of junk.
Garbage. My favorite part during the whole movie from one of the audience members is somebody started to clap and then nobody joined them.
Oh, so sad.
We had a couple of clappers in ours that not many people joined in. Like right as a galaxy far, far away, somebody clapped at there, and nobody followed, and at the very end,
Millennium Falcon got the most reaction as far as which is it's so iconic. It's such a ridiculously.
They did a good job with it.
Yeah, fortunate or unfortunate, I think the biggest icons of Star Wars are Darth Vader and the Millennium Falcon. Those are the things that I think invoke the biggest response in people.
I'm glad.
X-Wings. Like if they hadn't shown X-Wings, I'd have been pretty sad.
I don't think that's.
It makes me think of Star Wars, like that iconic ship design.
But that's not what makes it.
These are like
iconic.
the top ones.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Some of the things I'm glad though from seeing the trailers, going to the movie, I'm very glad it wasn't like a resurrection of Darth Vader type thing, because they kind of made it seem like something like that when they were showing his burnt out helmet, and such.
It's more of just like a totem.
I'm glad it wasn't like a resurrection of that, and it just kind of.
Yep. No more.
And I'm excited to see where it's going to go, because obviously 2017 is the next one. Then we're going to have an explosion of movies, because we're going to have a Boba Fett standalone movie. We're going to have another standalone movie. We're going to have all sorts of
It's going to be a Han Solo movie.
Yeah, there's a
which I wonder how it's going to work.
It's going to be young Han Solo. It's all about
it's like where the pre-books were.
So we're going to see all sorts of things happening going forward.
Okay.
It's just going to explode with tons of direct. Because even J.J. Abrams isn't doing the next movie, which I'm fine with.
Which I'm fine with, because he does a really good job on the first movie of series. That's his strength. Like he does a really good job on the first one. So as long as they bring in someone solid for the second one, which I haven't heard who they brought in. But.
Well, I mean, it comes down to the writers and keeping some of the same writers. I'm curious to see how we expand into all these Star Wars movies now, because we're going to see all these standalone things. And a standalone Star Wars movie is kind of cool.
The idea of a standalone movie is cool. I hope they do it well, because that's the one question I have.
We're going to see Han Solo back when he did the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs.
12.
I know. I said that on purpose.
I know you did.
I love that Millennium Falcon was kept being stolen by different people. It's like, who do you steal it from? Well, you stole it from so-and-so.
I am really curious to know what. I mean, I know he wasn't really offered a part though, but I am curious to know where Lando is in this world.
I was kind of hoping that he would make a little bit of a comeback.
You can't have two black men on the screen at the same time
in the Star Wars universe.
One at a time.
You can't
people.
even really have two women.
One of the voice.
One scene where it was Leia and the girl together, and that was it.
Well, the CGI girl is a black girl. I can't think of the actress's name, but the little girl with the spectacles.
Oh, the spectacles. Yeah,
she's technically. I guess technically she is.
She's a female.
She's a female and a black female.
I am curious because I haven't seen it done anywhere else other than Tron 2. But do you think it'd be interesting, or would it be too over the top to CGI in a younger version of the like a flashback almost of these the old actors, the original actors coming back? Would it be neat to see a CGI'd young Luke Skywalker?
That's technology gets better and better, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrifying, but at the same time, unfortunately, I think they would run into troubles with voices. Like Leia does not sound like Leia.
Well, again, maybe Jeff Bridges.
She did not.
No, she does. She sounds like an old smokes 2 packs a day Leia.
Han, maybe, but he was still kind of a little bit slow.
More peppy.
Yeah, and obviously Luke we didn't hear, but we've heard Mark Hamill talk.
If anyone's got the voice thing down, it's him. I mean, that's been his life. But I'm thinking Jeff Bridges, he kind of has a more traveled voice too. But in Tron 2, the program Finn, he really sounded like it was back from the 70s Finn.
Well, that was with Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. That was awesome. The way that made him look like he was back when he did Wall Street.
When he was younger, yeah.
And that was at the very beginning of that film. We should probably cut short here pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're running very close to 2 hours, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go see Star Wars.
Go see Star Wars. It's enjoyable. I think that in the vein of the things that there were other things that bother us, we don't need to talk about them, but I'm going to say it's going to be on the internet. There's going to be people that are going to pick apart the movie for the little things that they don't like. I think that there have been some big-name movies lately that have kind of dropped the ball, and so it's encouraged that mindset in people. I hope that people don't go too badly that way in Star Wars. I understand that the Hobbit movies were a disappointment for all of us. All of us were hoping it was going to be like Lord of the Rings, and it wasn't. And we all saw the first one. I actually enjoyed all three.
I enjoyed all three greatly.
But I know so many people that enjoyed it when they saw it and then logged onto the internet and were convinced it was a piece of utter shite.
Well, I think he just needed he needed to make it at most 2 movies.
No, I agree. Like, it could have been done way better. But my point is, I hope that that's not what happens with Star Wars, because I don't want to see the popular internet thing to be that this Star Wars movie was shit, because it was a solid movie. It was enjoyable from start to finish. Each individual aspect of it was good. The character development was good. I hate Ben, which maybe that's all they needed in a villain. Like, he's a shitty person that I hate, so Ben Solo is a shitty person I hate.
Yeah.
I mean, he's successful on that front.
Mm-hmm. I think he was. I think they accomplished what they were trying to do. I mean, I think they got that.
And so I think that he will likely change quite a bit. He physically and emotionally had his ass kicked at the end of this movie. I think that they will probably bring him back as a slightly different person in the next movie. Not necessarily a different actor, but like I think his character and his personality will change significantly.
They should change the actor.
Or give him a facelift, just a haircut and a facelift.
When you start embracing the dark side fully, your face goes to shit anyway. So maybe it'll be an improvement.
Maybe it won't matter. But yeah, like I think that that's something that's gonna just naturally happen. But other than the fact that Katie hates his face, like I think
and his whininess, like he's just not.
It's who the character was meant to be.
Well, if he didn't have that voice modulator.
At least with the first 3 movies, like the reason that he turned to the dark side was because he was a hothead. Like he was angry all the time.
Anakin.
Yeah.
But this guy didn't turn because of anger. He turned because he was
seduced. He felt betrayed, betrayed and seduced. There was that little bit of little bit of wiggle room.
I will say, when Han died, I'm like, man, Chewbacca's going to kill a lot of people.
I thought Chewbacca was going to kill himself, honestly, because I think they're like Ebony and Ivory. Like they go together. Like Chewbacca on his own is going to be really weird.
Yeah,
it is
especially
a little funny
since
that
Rey
in the
doesn't
books
understand
they killed
him.
Chewie, and now in the movies they killed Han. It'll be interesting to see if Chewie does what Han did in the books, which is just fall apart forever.
He knew that he had a job to do, so I mean he did it. Like,
he did do that job, but it'll be interesting. Like Chewie just sitting in a bar drinking his sorrows away in the second movie.
All right, you guys ready to call it?
Yeah, let's call it.
Yeah. Bye bye.